I'd like to call this meeting to order of the Monterey County Board of Education special meeting regarding Millennium Charter High School. Dr. Kotowski, would you like to make introductions, please? Roll call.
Yes, Janet Wohlgemuth.
Present.
Ronald Panziera.
Here.
Harvey Kuffner.
Here.
John McPherson.
Here.
Judy Pennycook.
Present.
Mary Claypool.
Present.
Lupe Sánchez.
Present.
Dr. Nancy Kotowski.
Present.
Would you all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? And have Ed.
Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Monterey County Office of Education and to our special board meeting regarding Millennium Charter High School. We'd like to begin this morning by introductions. I'm Dr. Nancy Kotowski, Monterey County Superintendent of Schools, and our President of our board, Janet Wohlgemuth, Vice President of our board, Ronald Panziera, and our members of our county board, Judy Pennycook, John McPherson, Lupe Sánchez, Mary Claypool, and Harvey Kuffner. And with us today, I have our Deputy Superintendent, Dr. Denise Gus. We also have our legal counsel, Mr. Ed Sklar. We have my assistant, who is the secretary to the board in terms of note-taking and all, and who will be doing a lot of facilitation today. We have Carla Stewart, Associate Superintendent for Business and Finance, Gary Bossum, Executive Director of Finance, Colleen Stanley, Assistant Superintendent for Student Services, Ernesto Vela, and our coordinator, director, who supports our charter schools, which you all know from her presence at all your board meetings, Michelle Archuleta. So welcome, and we welcome all of you. We also have some other staff members from the County Office of Education on hand here. So we welcome you to the Monterey County Board of Education meeting.
Thank you.
And what we would like to see, is there anyone that needs an interpreter? If you need an interpreter, Dr. Vela will serve as our interpreter. So if you need an interpreter, please see Dr. Vela.
¿Hay un miembro de la audiencia que ocupa traducción de inglés a español?
Moving on, item 1.4, adoption of the agenda.
So move.
Moved in second. Correspondence.
Yes, there has been correspondence, and the correspondence is on a table in the back of the room, and has been given to each board member.
Can I, all those in favor for the adoption of the meeting, the agenda?
Aye.
Nay? So moved. Okay. So the purpose of the meeting today is to provide both Millennium Charter High School and the Monterey County Board of Education the opportunity to discuss the current fiscal status of the school and the next steps regarding the direction of the school. I will now explain to you the procedure of today's meeting. First, the Monterey County Board of Education's Millennium Subcommittee will present their report. Then the MCOE staff will present a report on Millennium Charter School. Millennium Charter School Board President Jose Arreola will be given an opportunity up to 10 minutes to make a presentation. Following comments by Millennium Representative Mr. Arreola, the County Board will hear public comments for those individuals wishing to speak regarding any items on the agenda. Each individual will be given up to 2 minutes. Deferring time to another speaker will not be allowed. There will be no disruptions to the meeting. If you haven't already done so, please fill out a request to speak form and return it to Carla Stewart. Speakers will be called in order of the request were received. Please print your name legibly. If your school's spokesperson or someone else has already said what you would like to say, please consider in going forth your turn to speak, or just state that you concur with the previous speakers. Staff will call 3 names at a time. Please come forward and be ready to speak. When you begin, we ask that you please state your name and where you're from, although you are not required to. In order to give today's speakers the opportunity to be heard and allow the county board to be able to concentrate on their remarks, there will be no applause or interruptions of any kind. Following public comment, the county board will convene to a closed session. Upon the conclusion of that closed session, there will be a report out of any actions, if any, or direction. Following the report out from the closed session, the county board will take action to approve the amendment to the MOU between Monterey County Board of Education and Millennium Charter High School to transfer business and human resource services from Monterey County Office of Education to Millennium Charter High School. Then the board will make their remarks, and then final item will be for the county to approve staff with direction regarding initiation of revocation process for Millennium Charter High School. At the conclusion of the meeting, the county board will address next steps. That being said, I will now turn it over to, on item number 3, the Monterey County Board of Education Millennium Subcommittee report, Mr. McPherson.
Thank you, Madam President. First off, can everybody hear me? Hands in the back, please. Thank you. All right. Before I start, I want to alert the board that in a letter dated yesterday, the president of Millennium Board requested that I recuse myself from all things related to Millennium due to a conflict of interest, as I was a parent at the school for the 16-17 school year and the first month of the 17-18 school year. As much as that idea is very appealing to me right now, I don't see any merit in the request and feel my duty as an elected official was to do what I was elected to do. So here I am. I apologize if this report is repetitive as I have made, as I've been doing subcommittee reports since our October meeting. But I'm going to start from the start because it is important to understand how we got to this point. First, let me start with a summary on how public school financing works, as Millennium is a public school. Public schools run on the June to July fiscal calendar, which coincides with the school year. There are 3 main components of public school finances: cash balance, revenue, and expenses. Every school district or charter school must start the year with a cash balance, and after revenue and expenses for that year, end with a cash balance, also known as a reserve. A cash reserve is critically important as it allows for surprises and economic uncertainties. Schools and school districts quite often have to spend more in a year than they will get in income, but if they have a healthy reserve, it isn't an issue. The bank for public schools in Monterey County is the county treasury, with a large part of the total treasury ring-fenced and designated for public school use. So income goes into the treasury, and then expenses are paid out of the treasury, with the county office providing some level of business services for all schools in the county. This does not have to be the case for charter schools, but that is currently the setup. Expenses are what you would expect them to be, with salaries and benefits, facilities, costs, etc. Revenue in the state of California comes from the state and is based upon a combination of enrollment and attendance, known as average daily attendance, or ADA. The state funds public schools at approximately $9,000 per ADA per year, so it is critically important that public schools maintain a high enrollment and have those students attend school on a regular basis. There are other sources of income, but ADA is the main way public schools are funded in California. The financial problems Millennium now faces are due to a significant and rapid decline in revenue due to a significant and rapid decline in ADA. In the 16-17 school year, the ADA was 176. In the 17-18 school year, it was 143. And at the start of this year, it was 126. At roughly $9,000 a student, That is a decrease in revenue of approximately $450,000 annually from 16-17 to now. There were some expense reductions in the 17-18 school year, but not enough to offset the loss in revenue. So this came to a head at the end of that school year when the school spent at a deficit to the point it wiped out the cash reserves by the end of the year, and went into a negative cash position, which in simple terms means the school overdrew its account with the county treasurer. This situation came to light last June, and on June 11th of 2018, the county office sent Millennium a notice of concern and had the school on the agenda for our June board meeting. At that time, it was stated by Millennium that the enrollment number needed to support their proposed budget for the upcoming school year was 154. And county board members gave suggestions on how to be successful with recruitment to get to that number. It was also suggested that Millennium talk to third parties, such as the Community Foundation, for supplemental funds. In September, Millennium was on our board agenda again and reported that the enrollment for the start of the year was approximately 135, so short of the number discussed previously. It was at this time the county board authorized the subcommittee, and President Claypool appointed me, Member Kuffner, and Member Panziera to analyze the situation and make a recommendation to the board. After looking at the cash position of the school, which was approximately negative $250,000 at the time, and the current ADA at the time, the subcommittee determined that the school was fiscally insolvent and therefore should stop operations at the end of the semester. This may sound harsh, but there is no justification for any public entity funded by taxpayer dollars to continue operations at such a significant loss with no viable option for recovery, and it would be irresponsible for us as elected officials to recommend otherwise. Based on this, thank you. Start. And lost me. Based on this, Dr. Kotowski then came up with a solution where the Millennium students could be incorporated into the county's alternative education high school to continue their education starting in the second semester. The program would be structured like Millennium, the Millennium program, and Millennium teachers would be hired where possible. We take great pride in the county's alternative ed program and are confident it would meet the needs of the students. In October, the County Board Subcommittee, along with Dr. Kotowski and Dr. Gus, shared our findings and recommendations with members of the Millennium Board. During these meetings, the members of the Millennium Board expressed concern that the numbers they had been getting from the county office were inaccurate. They changed from request to request and stated that the county office had overcharged for oversight due to Millennium moving from the MCOE campus to the Sherwood campus, but was being charged the same amount for facilities. The county office reworked the numbers, found some posting errors, and agreed that school had been overcharged. Once these were factored in, the subcommittee's evaluation remained the same, because while the financial outlook improved some, it would not swing positive from a cash standpoint, was just as likely to get worse, so the school should stop operations on 12/31 and students transition to the county board program, as discussed. This was documented by me in a letter to the Millennium Board President on November 12th and covered in detail at our November County Board meeting. At that time, the Millennium Board continued to express concern about the posting errors made by the county business office and stated that they did not trust the numbers. Dr. Kotowski then commissioned a forensic audit by an outside agency at county office expense to nail down the true state of Millennium's financial situation. That audit was published as part of our December 14 agenda and states that Millennium closed October of this year with a negative cash balance of $312,000. At the December 14th meeting, we again stated that the financial situation and outlook for the school was dire. It should cease operations December 31st, and students who want to should transition to the proposed county program. We had representatives from the county high school on hand to answer questions about the proposed program. Dr. Kotowski also expressed in these meetings and in a letter her intention to not issue payments on behalf of Millennium out of the county treasury after December 31st, since that would only exacerbate the negative cash position. It is important to note that, to our knowledge, this is an unprecedented situation, as we are not aware of any independent charter school in the state that it's had its financial situation deteriorate so quickly that it went into debt to the county treasury, hundreds of thousands of dollars. As you can see from the timeline I've outlined, Millennium's financial situation has been a topic of discussion between the county board, the superintendent of schools, and the Millennium board since June 11, when we issued a notice of concern and included face-to-face meetings between our subcommittee and members of the Millennium board starting in October. I have had multiple parents communicate to me, and I'm sure other board members, that this has come as a great surprise, and they only learned about the situation last week. I cannot speak as to why that is the case. Millennium is an independent charter and is not the role of the county board or the superintendent of schools to communicate directly with Millennium stakeholders. That is the role of the Millennium board. So that is how we got to today. What needs to be decided is what will happen next. We have heard from Millennium that it is the county office's fault due to accounting errors, and that the county office needs to pay Millennium reparations and provide a loan to make it right. The county also needs to allow Millennium to manage their own revenue and finances. As I've stated, it is our position that the root cause of the problem is a rapid decline in revenue associated with the rapid decline in ADA, not accounting errors. Those errors, which staff will go through shortly, most definitely confused the financial status of the school on any given date, but they did not materially impact the financial status. In the end, however, it doesn't matter whose fault it is, because you do not take action to address the issue of an insolvent public school based on whose fault it is. You take action based on what is legally allowed. People have reached out to me and said we need to come up with a creative solution. It is important to remember that we are dealing with public money. And public money mixed with creativity is not a recipe for success, but only more problems. So, coming to the end, we have two options for moving forward, and it's Millennium's choice on which to choose. Option one, which is covered on our agenda today, is to do as the school has requested and change the memorandum of understanding between Millennium, the county board, and the county office to allow Millennium to, in essence, find another bank and manage its own financial affairs starting January 1. This means any revenue, and since students are still attending school, there is ADA revenue, would not go to the county treasury, but to the bank that Millennium contracts with, and Millennium will be responsible for how that money is spent. There will be no additional funds provided by the county board in the form of a grant or loan, as any such funds provided could be described as a gift of public money, and the county board has stated no action will be taken that could be interpreted as a gift of public money. The $300,000 owed to the county treasury by Millennium will have to be sorted out in the future, because, as I said, this is, as far as we know, is an unprecedented situation in the state, so there's no precedent we know of to follow. As the charter authorizer for Millennium, the county board will also consider on today's agenda if we should begin the process of revocation, and to take action on that later. That's option one. Option two is the option we have proposed since October, which is the school cease operations on January 1, and we work together to transition the students to a similar program in our alternative at high school. If it is agreed that this is the preferred option by this Friday, we feel confident that we could get such a program up and running for the students to begin the second semester, and could include hiring current Millennium teachers depending on how many students choose to attend. This option ensures seniors will graduate and freshmen will have a school to attend all 4 years. It is important to point out that the solution will cost the county office a significant amount of money, and money we did not plan for in our budget. It is an expenditure that fits within the county office's current structure and charter, however, so it passes legal scrutiny. As with option one, the $300,000 owed to the county treasury by Millennium will still have to be dealt with. As I said, if this is the preferred option, the county office needs to know by end of day Friday, as there is a lot of work to do. So, those are the options available. I encourage all stakeholders of Millennium, students, parents, staff, and the board, to seriously consider both options. It has to be pointed out that option one has a much higher level of risk associated, because if it is adopted but does not succeed, the outcome then is for all students to return to their school of residence. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. McPherson. Moving on to item number 4, Monterey County Office staff report on Millennium Charter School. Dr. Kotowski.
Good morning, everyone, and I would like to say as I start, it is really good to have you all here together at this very critical point in time for Millennium Charter High School. And it's good to see the entire community here in such numbers in order for us all to be sure we're very clear about where we are and where we're going from here. Okay, and thank you for coming out. And certainly it's good to see you all present today. And I know our board feels this way and our staff as well, welcoming you all here so that we can all be together in understanding where we're at and understanding what our options are and where we're going to go to from here. So thank you for that. But I'd like to start out by pointing out that the Monterey County Office of Education, as is every county in Office of Education throughout California, is here to serve every one of our 78,000 students. Each and every one of you is very special. Each of you has gifts and talents in your lives. You're all going to soar to boundless heights as you pursue your steps in life. And the County Office of Education holds it very, very dear to the heart that we offer alternatives for students, and thus the creation of Millennium Charter High School. When you leave, I hope you take a look at the cornerstone of the building. Right here outside the door, over here, you're going to see the cornerstone. This building was built in 1973 by the County Board of Education. The county superintendent's names are all up there from 1973. When the County Office of Education invested in putting a television studio into this office and opening an instructional materials center here at the county office in order to provide access to resources, in order to be on the cutting edge of education. As the years have gone along since 1973, in fact 1973 was the year I graduated from college, in that time, the County Office of Education has supported the importance of our students being on the cutting edge in the use of technologies and the use of media and the use of all the resources that are available for the hands-on learning, which is one of the hallmarks of Millennium Charter High School, is that hands-on learning. And so it came to the point where the question was raised. The TV station was becoming a sleepy TV station back there. And there wasn't anything going on back there. And that would be of the kind of nature for 21st century learning for our students. And so it was either going to close down or it was going to become something relevant for the future for our students. That's the role of the County Office of Education, to be innovative and to offer those resources. So with that, back in 2007, it turned out that our office, it was either going to close or become something relevant. We got one of 15 grants in the nation for the Race to the Top money. And all of the nation, people were competing for those grants. And we received a career technical high school grant from the state, and we built out that entire studio back there with the green screens rooms, with all the technologies, with the black box theater that you use, with the lab that's back there. That all got built out. This charter school was then created. And it became a demonstration site for the state of California. And when we started this school, it was intended that we would have 200 students here with a waiting list, like our other charter schools all have. That was the intent. This is an independent charter school, and it has gone through a tumultuous years, unfortunately. And the question is how the school, when it initially began in 2013-14, it began with the freshman and sophomore class. It was operated out of this office. They had an ADA of 84. By the second year, they were able to add the junior class in. It was up to 142 students, and people were coming here. By 2015-16, the ADA was 174 students. Unfortunately, there were a series of turnovers that have occurred in the school. Turnovers that have been very tumultuous in terms of the staff, in terms of the students moving on, as Mr. McPherson had said. And I think you, as parents, need to ask the question, why is it not at 200 students? Why have students left the school? It has been decreasing numbers have brought it to the point it's at. The ADA is now down so significantly, and as Mr. McPherson said, it's based on the number of students that attend the school as your ADA. Now, at this point, we have sought to make this school a success, and I want to say nobody wanted to see it fly on its own like all the other 24 school districts and charter schools that we have in this county. The county office seeks to offer innovations, not to take over programs. There's no intent on this county board or on this staff to say we want to take your school. That was never the intention. This intention was for this school to fly. And our office has been there every step of the way since the creation and development of the charter to this very day, supporting this school in every way we could and working with the board. And working with the boards that have turned over and changed, working with the staff leadership that has turned over and changed, working with the new teachers that have turned over and changed. Unfortunately, rather than students coming to the school, students have left. And it's put it into the dire situation that it's in. Now, in terms of I want to point out something to every one of you. The reserves that every school district is required to maintain in California for this charter school should always be at a minimum of 5%. But for schools of this size and our other two charter schools that operate, Monterey Bay Charter and Bayview, both of those charters have a reserve for financial uncertainty of 36%. This school has zero and has had zero in its reserves. We've been struggling. The board has worked very hard to make cuts that you can make. There is no question about that. And our office has been there. The other piece of this, there have been some transactional corrections that had to be made, and they were made. There were errors that were found, a few of them. There were that Mr. Boston's going to talk about in a moment about, but they were normal, those were transactional errors. The business office of the school and the board were supposed to be keeping their own records, and the school is who reports to their board every month on their financial standing. The staff was trained completely in the use of the financial system, for the staff to use the financial system. Who detected the transactional errors that occurred? The County Office of Education detected those errors, and the county office brought them forward, and the county office presented them to the board, and those corrections were made. With a 36% reserve level, a school absorbs those transactional errors that were made and are able to absorb that into their school, and it goes on. It happens from time to time that there is a transactional error that occurs, and it's corrected when it's detected. Who detected the error? The County Office of Education. When there's an error made of any kind of a mistake, the spotlight is put on it, and it is corrected. And that is exactly what happened with Millennium Charter High School. One of those issues was a grant that people are talking about as though the county office took the money. Absolutely not. There was a grant that was written by the County Office of Education to support both Millennium and our alternative programs. There is a signed MOU with the school as to who was doing what with the grant. When the grant was submitted, it was submitted with the school code for Millennium, as it needed a school code to be recorded. With that school code recorded, the money, when it came in, got put into the wrong account. And so it was moved to the correct account where the expenditures were made. The revenues and the expenses need to be in the same account. That CTIG grant is copies there for you to take a look at, the signed MOU with the school as to whose grant that was. That was a grant of the County Office of Education to serve Millennium, which it did, and when the mistake was made to put it into the Millennium account, it was transferred to where it was supposed to go, which was to the account of where the expenditures were. They must match the expenditures and the income for the services that were provided for career technical education. The other two mistakes that were made, that happened, were that the county office didn't collect its fees. Gary will speak to that point. It got corrected, and Gary will speak to what was done there. So when you it is very erroneous to say that the County Office of Education the school is in its financial position because of the county office of education. It's not. The school is responsible for maintaining its records. The school is responsible for checking, and the school is equally responsible for looking at those financial reports, for using they have complete access to the financial system. It would have been nice if the school had discovered the error before the county did. Unfortunately, the school never detected the error. Order in the room.
Can we please have order? Please hold your comments until she's done. You have a
So
lot of
that,
time.
the financial situation of the county is such that the school and the county, we fulfilled our oversight responsibilities in Stern of Finance and went above and beyond with the school. And those corrections that needed to be made were made. It is not the reason that the school is in a financial position that it's in. The reason the school is in the financial position it's in is because of the fact that the ADA has not been there to support the school despite all the efforts everyone has made. Well, I want you to know that this school has been at the heart of this office. And from the very beginning, we were the ones who worked to create it. We were the ones who built this facility. And when you moved over to Sherwood Hall and the enrollment, still the question for parents remains, why are you not at 200 students at this time? And that's a question you need to ask, and that's a question that needs to be looked into by all of you. And the school has to be able to sustain itself. We cannot take funds from public monies to support the school apart from what the school has in terms of its income. And now I'm going to ask Gary Bossum to please address the financial situation that you'd like to comment on.
Thank you, Dr. Kotowski. I got involved in this situation and I noticed that the cash balance for the charter school was in a negative state. We had some internal issues that was not brought to my attention, but I did notice that in the middle of September. So I began my own review. It's not something typically that I do for school districts, because I have 24 school districts and charter schools and community colleges to look over. But in this case, because I had an affinity toward Millennium, I decided to go in there and take a look at all the transactions myself. I did note that the school facilities grant in 17-18 had a...
Can you speak a little closer to the mic? I can't hear you.
Okay.
She can't hear you.
Yes, I heard. Thank you. I have a soft voice, so I apologize if... But I'm trying to do my best. I noticed that there was an account receivable for state schools facilities grant. But I noticed there was a second one. And I said, well, this doesn't make sense. So I did my research and found that we duplicated an account receivable in 17-18. Secondly, I began looking at, going back in time, went into 16-17, and noticed that some fees were not charged in that year by MCOE to the charter school. And then I noticed also that the CTIG grant that Dr. Kotowski mentioned earlier, the Career Technical Education Grant, was sitting in the charter schools records, and the expenses were sitting in MCOE's records. So that had to be corrected also. As superintendent mentioned, when I find mistakes like that, I shine the spotlight on them because, first of all, it needs to be shined on. Any mistakes that either a district makes or the county makes should be brought forward and talked about and reconciled and fixed.
She said you don't understand the logs.
in order to ensure that what I was coming up with on the financial records of the charter school was accurate, we did engage the firm of Christie White Associates from San Diego, a well-recognized firm in the state, licensed by the state of California, done audits and reviews all up and down the state. Christie White herself used to work for School Services of California. They reviewed documents, we sent them reports, we sent them transaction reports, we sent everything clear back to when the first year that they appeared on the financial record, which is 13-14 in Escape. We verified that the cash balance on October 31st, 2018, which was $321,000 some odd dollars, I forget the amount you have in front of me, was accurate, and they attested to that in a report. School districts of this size normally would have about a 5% reserve. It's 5% or 50,000, whichever is greater. And in the MOU, it does state that the charter school would have reserves in accordance with the state requirements. Looking at the 17-18 records for small school districts in this county, I see that Bradley has about 7% reserve, Graves 36%, Lagunitas 31%, Mission 16%, San Antonio 8%, San Lucas 7%. So it typically is, the smaller your district is, the more reserve level you need, because a small problem, bill you didn't anticipate could really be detrimental to the district. So, just want to state that, I'm glad I did the research into the charter. I'm glad I found the mistakes. I'm glad I had them corrected, so we know where we're at. And, Madam Chair, that's my report.
Whenever there is any kind of an error that's made, it's always the spotlight goes on it. And we do find them, they always do get corrected, and that is exactly what happened for Millennium. The students are very precious to us, each and every one of you, and it was for that reason that we looked into what could be done. But we certainly can't allow the school to be taking hundreds of thousands of dollars out of the treasury of the county pool in order to support Millennium Charter High School. That would be taking the money from the other school districts of the county, and that can't happen. Each school has to be able to operate and have its own financial solvency. It's like your own home. You have to have a savings account for any uncertainties that come up. There has to be that reserve. The school has not had a reserve. The effort has been made to try to recruit students to the school, and that has not succeeded. Rather, there's been this decline. So at this point, that is the point at which the County Office of Education did not, and said we would not at numerous board meetings to your board members that attended and any parents, that we would offer a seamless program if there were parents that chose to that option. We would offer, we could open it, we have the infrastructure, we have the staff, it's what we do, is to create programs. We would be able to continue the program through, concerned especially about the 32 seniors that need to graduate at this point. The problem is that just the reserves are not there no matter what we do. And a solution needs to be found for the school. And options need to be considered by the families for what it is that you're going to do going forward. And for the staff. And the only reason that an option is being offered to you, you know this, is that you know this facility, you know what we have to offer here, would be to offer a program for you should the school choose to surrender its charter. The only way that we could offer that program effective for the beginning of the next semester is if we knew by Friday with the holiday, so that our team and our principal and our director is standing right over here. In order, if you were called upon, we would put together that program if the school recognized its financial standing and was going to work with us to create an alternative for the students for the next semester. In terms of becoming a dependent charter, that question was raised. That's a process that could not happen this year. It would take time for that to occur, and that wouldn't be able to happen. So the way it would need to work would be for if the school surrendered its charter, and then we looked to the future as to what we could do together to ensure that the model of Millennium Charter High School, preparing our students for the 21st century jobs and careers that you're looking for, following your passions, if that were able to be done in a financially solvent manner and prepared for the future. That was our offer. There was never any intent to say what we really wanted was to take the school. That's never been there, nor would it be. We're there behind the school, we're here for its future, and for offering this option to students who need this option. So that would be the conclusion of our staff report, unless Dr. Gus, is there anyone else that would like to? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Kotowski, Mr. Awesome. Now, item number 5, Millennium Charter High School Board Presentation. Mr. Arreola, you have 10 minutes.
Thank you, President Wohlgemuth, Dr. Kotowski, Board. Thank you, school community, for being here today, showing your support. I'm only here because of this community that stands here before you. I think it really understates the situation to say that this is purely an enrollment issue. This board has been very responsible in responding to the enrollment issues by reducing our expenditures. We've reduced nearly $500,000 in expenditures since this has all begun. But we've been undermined by these errors, and simply stated the way you guys did, that's true. You found them and you removed them. But when you remove 6 figures at a time, multiple times from our budget, again, without consulting the board, only to let us know, we've done this, we found this, what are you going to do about it? It doesn't allow the board to make any decisions other than very difficult ones, and we're making them after the fact. It's not like we saw the train coming and chose not to get out of the way. What we're asking is the same thing you're asking for, Dr. Kotowski. Work with us. I imagine you as a board dealing with a bank who decided that they were going to fine an error 2 years old that you've been operating under the assumption of money you had, would demand better of that bank to work with you to either restructure that debt, not to say you don't owe it, but to work out a way to repay that money to where it doesn't immediately lead you to collapse. Now, the enrollment has played a role. We're not denying that. And this board has come on during some very difficult times and has been really trying to right the ship. And it's true. Your staff has been supportive in many ways. Don't take that away. That's been clear. And as Dr. Kotowski said, this was originally the vision of this institution. And for the sake of that vision, for the sake of that this is the only charter high school in the entire city of Salinas, the seat of the county, the only small school choice that doesn't require a hefty tuition. You'll hear from parents and students today, this school is much more than a career technical education promise. It's an opportunity to be part of a small community rather than a large comprehensive one, which is really the only other option available to those without extreme means. I'm going to invite in just a moment up my colleague, Treasurer Lana Rosebrow. But I really just need to reiterate, right? Mr. McPherson, you're right. This isn't about blame at this point. This is really about how we make this right and what's right for kids. And we've stated from the beginning the mid-year closure was not it. We never asked for the forensic audit. I'm sorry you guys spent that money. When asked at the November board meeting if that would appease us, we said no, because it relies on the very same books that we're questioning. right, to review back. We wanted an opportunity to have someone with our clear support in mind to look at those books. Because even in our preliminary review of that forensic audit, we're still concerned. And we still haven't had the full audit given to us as we asked. At this time, I'll invite Landa Rose Robert to come up with us.
Thank you, Jose. Good morning, MCOE board and staff, and all of the Millennium families and members of the public that are here today. I'm going to be as brief as possible because although the MCOE staff and board have had over half an hour to present their case, we have 10 minutes apparently. So, I want to address a couple of things. Sorry. Just a little bit of time, so hold your applause, please. I want to address a couple of points that were brought up in the reports that we just heard, related to information that we've received from MCOE Business Services and the timing of that information. One of the fundamental principles of accounting is that the information must be delivered in a timely fashion so that the users of that information may make responsible decisions. We have not had that opportunity, unfortunately. We understand that there are many circumstances leading to that, leading to this where we are now. And again, we're not here to blame, but we are saying that we need an appropriate amount of time to make plans and to work with the county to figure out how to dissipate this large cash flow issue that has stemmed from the errors that have been corrected in this accounting cycle, this school year, from previous school years. And the total of the three largest errors is approximately $285,000. So if those three totals alone are open for discussion and to figure out together some way to rectify this, we are once again a solvent concern. We would be in the black again, and I say again because our school has been in the black in years previous. We have had reserves in previous years. So it's not quite correct to state that we are consistently running a deficit. That is supported by our auditor, and you can see his letter to us dated yesterday. We have distributed that to the board, and copies are also available for members of the public. I just want to highlight a couple of things that he has said. Thank you. Just want to highlight a couple of things that he has said, that he also noted that the accounting services provided by MCOE have made it difficult for us to make those timely decisions. That regarding the unpaid fees and repayment of grant funds, it's normal for questioned costs and repayments to the state and/or county to be made over the span of 3 to 7 years. Repayment agreements allow the money to be returned while minimizing the effect on students and the operations of the school. So again, we see that there are other options besides those being presented by the MCOE staff. We would like to also have our attorney, Mr. Wayne Strumper, speak to the board on our behalf.
Good morning, Board President, Superintendent, members of the district, the county board. My name is Wayne Strumper. I'm with Young Dominion Corps. We represent a majority of charter schools in the state. What Millennium is asking for today is not that far off from what your options are, Mr. McPherson. Millennium would like to have an opportunity to consider the MOU. The draft MOU was sent to us on Monday at the end of the day. And we weren't able to, following the Brown Act, we weren't able to get the board together by Wednesday morning to consider the MOU. We would like to consider the MOU. It's something that we're interested in doing. I think both sides agree with that. But Millennium needs a little bit more time in order to consider it and look to approve it. One thing we would ask that we change the MOU date to January 31st instead of December 31st. Today is December 19th, Tuesday is Christmas. The opportunity for the board to, one, review the MOU and then to actually hire a back office provider by January 1st is really unreasonable and untenable to do for the school. So we just ask for an extra 30 days to do that. And for the county not to stop payment. Under the education code, the code you use refers to districts and not charter schools. We also would ask that you not go forward today with the revocation process. Give the school to the end of the school year with a new provider and then review the situation at that time. Let's see what we can work out. This is not a situation where the school has spent willy-nilly and has gotten themselves into problems. I hear talk about, people blame it as, no, it happened. But the fact of the matter is there was hundreds of thousands of dollars that fairly recently the school found out that they don't have. And to give them no time to really figure that out and correct it doesn't seem fair at this point. We appreciate the efforts being made by the county and hope that we can continue to work together. The idea of revocation, I just want to say, is expensive for both sides. It's not helpful for the students, and it should be avoided. And I think the opportunity at Millennium School to correct the problems, to have a back office provider, and do their thing would be the right thing to do for the county board. And I appreciate your time and consideration today. Thank you.
Thank you. So now we're going to open it up to public comment. Again, I would like to remind everybody you have 2 minutes. We will be calling you by the way they were received. And again, if you agree with the presenter prior to you, you can say ditto to what that person said, and then move on from there. And please, so everybody has a chance to be heard in their 2 minutes, we ask that you keep applause and or noise down so we can also hear them as well. Terry?
Okay, our first 3 speakers, Lena Williams, Sherry Shaw, and DJ Hill. If you'd like to come up.
So if you could come up and stand in order so that we can move from one speaker to the next. Thank you.
Thank you. So my son, Jonathan Brattle, is a senior at Millennium Charter High School. We're residents of Marina. We selected this school not because it's just alternative education, but because my son has a passion for the arts. It was only an added benefit that there was the additional support and full inclusion because he's also on the autism spectrum. During his time at the school, he's actually excelled. He has managed to only miss 2 days of school in almost 4 years. And he has a 3.92 GPA and has already been preliminarily accepted to Monterey Bay to study and continue his field education, CSUMB. And I don't understand, as I've looked at all the students that have come through over the years, how the board also hasn't recognized that part of the challenges that have happened with enrollment had to do with the complete gutting of some of the programs and arts education that were available at the school when they started. When he came over, it wasn't just that he liked film, but there was also Japanese, available as a language. He was able to take dance instead of boring PE running laps at a school. And those are all things that brought and attracted students over to the institution. It wasn't just about having a smaller campus. It was about having something that didn't exist anywhere else. And I think it sounds like we're blaming the victims here when we talk about what has happened on the accounting side instead of looking at what the real victims are, who are our students, and what they're losing and what they don't have in the form of arts education and film education and multimedia education in the other schools in the district. I don't see how you can find and create that program immediately over 30 days and make that available if you don't actually already have the resources available to save a school that's in place. That's all I have to say.
For the kids. It's not about you, and it's not about me, it's about these kids. Please, it's about the children.
Could they please state their name for the record?
My name is DJ Hill. Okay, thank you very much for all coming. I'm a little nervous, so please forgive me. This is what I hear. He said, she said, blah, blah, blah. I'm sure that's what these kids are hearing. Blah, blah, blah. Let's make it about these kids. Closing the school mid-year, to me, is cruel. I have a senior, I have 2 other kids in this school, just like all these parents here. That's absolutely a cruel thing to do to these children. Leadership, support, service to prepare all students for success. All students. Not just whoever can foot the bill. All students. These kids are all really cool kids. They're amazing, they're smart. To do something like pulling them from this school in general, overall, again, it's cruel. This is their home, this is where they fit in, this is where they can be themselves without being afraid. My child, one child, my senior, faces a lot of difficulties fitting in. This school has done nothing but support him through his time at this school. He's a transgender child. 50% of transgender children commit suicide or attempt suicide. And I can tell you, I'm standing here today to tell you, because of this school, my child is alive. Because he can be who he is without fear. This is where he belongs. Please do not take that from him. I beg you as a parent. 2 other children, they have their own thing too, and they need to be in this school. I think that's all I have to say. Please.
Hello, my name is Sherry Shaw. I don't have a child at the school. I have one who wants to come here next year. My daughter goes to Bayview Academy, and I'm on the board there. And I've been with the school the whole time, so we went through a lot of stuff too. We had a year where we didn't think we'd be able to open again because we weren't sure we'd have a principal. And I do think that if this all happened really recently with the money, you need to give them at least the finish of the school year. I get the money thing. I'm on the board at another school. I know how important it is. But they're right. These kids have a place they fit in. What are they going to do? Spend the last 6 months of their school not bonding with the school students at other schools because you don't fit in that well. It doesn't matter who you are. And these kids aren't like, you know, the big jock or the cheerleader. They've found a place that they can be who they are, and I want that for my daughter too, and she wants it. And I just think there's got to be a way to figure out the money, even if you have to bring them back to your site with their charter, because it will save money with the rent. I get that if you have room for them. But I think we have to figure out something for these kids, at least for the next semester. And I don't know what I can do. I'm willing to get on the board and try and help, but I just think that because they can be who they are, you're putting them at risk if you move them from here, especially the seniors that have been here for 4 years. And I don't, you know, the school was very solvent until the first principal was let go. And you all have to own part of that, because it wasn't a good place. And what he got fired for was proven that it wasn't true afterwards. So, and I get the money thing, but I think that you need to at least help them for at least a semester. Don't make them leave now. I mean, picture these 32 seniors having to go into schools they don't know anybody. And they don't have each other anymore because they'll be in different places. Please, just at least the semester. And maybe by then, everybody can figure out how to save the school. Thank you.
Maxine Sanuda, Edmund Felici, and Larry Robin. Please come on up.
Go ahead.
Hello, my name is Maxine Sanuda. I am a freshman parent. My daughter is in love with her school. I understand, Dr. Kotowski, I'm sorry if I don't pronounce your name properly, that this was your vision, this was your dream, and your dream is alive. And it's made such a difference in the minds of these young adults. They have a place that they can go and not be bullied and not be seen as different, but accepted and embraced by each other. It is a safe haven for these children. My daughter told me, Mom, I finally found a place where I belong. And I understand the money situation. We need money in order to operate. But there's also the heart. The embracing of these young adults. They love their school. Your dream came alive. And thank you for creating this school. Your heart was there. All I ask is that your heart stays here. Ms. President, you're coming in. This is your new year. Come in with a bang. I understand that there's bad blood on the board, but that one bad blood should not affect all these young adults. They have lives. They're the forward thinkers of tomorrow, the creative minds of tomorrow. That was your dream. That was your vision. Please don't take that away from them. The mission statement, which was shared earlier, my daughter and all of these students fall into that category. I am very concerned of the well-being of the students. My daughter is getting A's. She got an A on her final in math, which she does not like math at all, and we've been trying and trying and trying. Mr. Erickson, her teacher, has been working with her, and she got an A on her final. She's doing really, really good. She doesn't have to hide who she is anymore. She's a unique, beautiful young lady with a beautiful singing voice. She's part of the music club, part of the ASB club, and my time is up, so I apologize for going on, but just from my heart to yours, please don't take this away from her or any of them.
Thank you.
Hi, my name's Ed Balaji, and I had a little nice speech here, but I'm not going to talk about it. Unlike the rest of you that have spoken so far, after listening to the board today, I'm actually a little bit angry. A little bit more angry than I was last week when I was here. And I have some questions. First one is for Gary. The first error that was noticed was a $100,000 error. And then there was several $100,000 after that. Who's been fired? Who from your accounting department has been fired for this? I can't imagine.
Please hold all your applause until after he's done speaking. Thank you.
I also question the forensic audit and the validity of it. Our board wasn't allowed to participate in it. How can we take, you ask us just to take in good faith the numbers you produce for us. And I find it very strange that a forensic audit would produce the exact same numbers that you were already feeding us. Something's very wrong there. And until we have a chance to participate fully in that, we can't know what's true and what's not. My next comments are for Nancy. I was here last week at the meeting, Nancy, I was here when you promised this meeting. No decisions would be made, nothing of that sort. The next day, you're on the 5 o'clock news, telling the community that the school is bankrupt and shutting down, and that you're no longer going to pay anyone. This is something you promised us you would not do. I don't know what you were thinking. The damage that's done to the school, to the morale, most of the kids found out about it on the 5 o'clock news. Teachers are packing their desks. The damage you've done to the school is, I don't even know how that can be repaired. It shows real questionable morality. Also, as Jose was speaking here, he was giving our board's view and presentation. During that time, I watched you shake your head and roll your eyes, just like you're reverting my gaze now.
I'm sorry, your time's up, sir.
This crystallizes the lack of respect this board has for us and our school. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm going to go ahead and call the next 3 people up. Mike Erickson, Ariana Gonzalez, and Ali Saruda.
Go ahead.
Before I start, I just want to ask for indulgence because I have a statement to make on behalf of the entire faculty of Millennium Charter High School. I'm a teacher there, and I was under the impression I had 3 minutes, so this might go a little over the 2 minutes. I ask for your indulgence in advance, but I will tell you I intend to finish my statement. Thank you. Good morning, and thank you in advance for this opportunity to speak on behalf of the entire Millennium Charter High School faculty. When I first set foot on the Millennium Charter High School campus a year ago last July, I knew right away I had come upon a special place, a place of acceptance, tolerance, and love. It was clear right away this was a place where each individual student was given every opportunity to grow and prosper, not just to earn a high enough GPA to get into the college of their choice, but to grow and prosper as human beings, and to leave here with the self-confidence they need to carry them to success in whatever direction they wanted to take their lives. There was a value placed on each individual student that included but was far from limited to academic success. Each student was given room to be themselves and to achieve success however that may be defined for that student, according to his or her own image of themselves. But what mattered most, more than just a letter on a transcript, was self-fulfillment, as well as commitment to be active and constructive members of their community, as witnessed by the thousands of community service hours our students have contributed to the well-being of Salinas and Monterey County. Yes, we are small. Our current enrollment is about in the 130s. Some may see this as a downside, but I say it's part of what makes us special. When I, as a first-year teacher at Millennium, realized that within 3 to 6 months I knew every student by name, could converse with most of them about their interests, their hobbies, and more, it made me realize that Millennium is far more than a school, it's a family. And every student who goes here knows they have an incredibly dedicated and hardworking group of educators who care first and foremost about them and their future, and to make sure that they evolve into the best possible versions of themselves, with the potential to contribute an immeasurable amount of good to their families, their community, and their country. Another early realization I had about Millennium was that we filled an important niche in the educational community of Monterey County. There are several very fine high schools in Salinas and surrounding communities. However, if we're honest with ourselves, we must admit there will always be a significant part of the high school population that for a variety of reasons do not adapt well to the traditional high school mold. And there's a great need for educational communities that cater to the needs of these students as well as their families. By forcing Millennium to shut its doors in the middle of the school year, every one of our students and their families will be forced to forego the joys and warmth of the holiday season, where all should feel safe and secure in their homes and with their families, and instead have it replaced by a season of anxiety, where they must spend a rushed and frantic few weeks searching for another school for their children, only to find that they cannot be found in the halls of only to find that the sense of safety and security and warmth they so missed this holiday season simply cannot be found in the halls of any other school save Millennium. And this is not to mention the chaos this decision will bring to the lives of the most dedicated staff of teachers and administrators I've ever seen. We, the students and faculty of Millennium Charter High School, have come here today to ask you, to plead with you, to not take this needlessly destructive decision at this time, but at the very least, allow until the end of the school year to resolve whatever financial issues threaten to destroy our fragile and important community. We are hoping you can draw upon that sense of humanity we know you all have this holiday season, and a season of caring and goodwill, to place the needs of hundreds of members of your community first, but to consider the effect your vote today will have on the human beings whose lives will be literally turned upside down as a result of the decision that is today in your hands. As a teacher, the only thing that matters to me is the difference I can make in my students' lives, both in and out of the classroom. And I've always tried to steer clear of the financial and, dare I say it, political issues that lie behind public education. But when they threaten to deprive me of the chance to make a difference in the lives of my students, I find it necessary to stand up and make my voice heard. I know I speak for the entire faculty when I say, please, do not take away from our students the best shot they have at becoming responsible and contributing voters of and members of their community, of your community, of our community. Thank you for the opportunity to These are letters written by many of the students that are here today. Personal handwritten letters to every member of the board. I'd like to give these to you. Thank you.
Mike Erickson, Ariana Gonzalez, and Ali Sarudu.
Can we have everybody get in line so we can make sure everybody gets heard?
Right, quicker.
Mike, is that the first one?
Mike Erickson.
Mike Erickson, please. Thank you.
Hi. I actually didn't sign up, but I'm here. I just wanted to first off thank you for seeing us today. I'm currently instructing math at Millennium Charter High School, and I hope to continue doing so in the spring, whether that is here or elsewhere. I'm optimistic to continue teaching these lovely students that I've had the opportunity to learn about, to know, and to work with over the course of this past academic year and the previous one as well. We have had, as you are aware, many changes in faculty and leadership and textbooks as well. So perhaps our math scores and our English scores are not as stellar as they could be, but we are continuously working on success and continuously working to grow and improve with all of our math scores, our English scores, our writing scores, and our SAT scores. We currently have the majority of our seniors going away to or have applied to four-year colleges, and we are desperately waiting to hear back from all of our colleges to see where they will continue on their adventure of education and higher learning. Many of them will be going to a two-year college. MPC and Hartnell are two examples. I just beg this board to show some compassion and hopefully keep the doors open long enough so that these students can go off onto their next adventure in the world. Thank you.
Okay. So my name is Ariana. I'm from Soledad, and I honestly don't know where to start. I feel so many emotions right now, but a lot of them are just sadness and anger. The chance that we'll have our school and our lives just kind of ripped from us. I just want you to know that when I walk into that school building, I don't feel stressed. I don't feel like it's just a normal school. I feel like it's a home, and in that home is a happy family. My family and our family. And I feel like, even though you say that our lives and our educations matter to you, we're just numbers still, but just know that we are people and we deserve the right to learn. So, I know my voice will probably fall on deaf ears, honestly. I'm used to that. That's why I yell all the time. But this school has truly given me a place where I could show my voice and opinions, unlike schools I've been to before where normally I'm just a walking dollar bill to them. And I feel like the community here truly does matter. And we all matter to each other. So I'm just begging you to please give us a chance. It means more than you know. I think that's all I really have to say, and I love all my friends. Thanks.
Jose Lopez, if you could come up, Manuel Morales, and Rachel Flores.
Go ahead.
Hello, I am Ali Cerudo, one of the students at this school. Before I went here, I went to a place called Gavilan View, and I have to be honest, it was hell, honestly. I got picked on, I got treated like trash, and when I got here, everyone accepted me for who I am. Everyone loved me for myself. Thank you. When I went to Galvin U, all I thought about was harming myself and killing myself. And it was such a horrible time for me. And when I got here, I no longer felt so hurt or depressed or anxious like I was. I have friends who love me for who I am. I don't feel like a freak or a loser as I was. I'm now accepted for who I am. And I don't want to take that away from me or my friends or any of my classmates. The ones who already attend here and those who are going to attend here next year. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Jose Lopez, and I'm currently a senior at Millennium Charter High School. Please bear with me, I may not be the best public speaker. I believe we shouldn't have to go through our school shutting down for someone else's mistakes. I've been coming to Millennium for about 4 years now, and I don't want to stop coming. I want to have winter ball at Millennium Charter High School, I want to have prom at Millennium Charter High School, and I want to graduate from Millennium Charter High School. And I want to be able to enjoy my senior year with all my friends at this school, and be able to participate in all the activities that Millennium has to offer us. At first, I didn't want to come to Millennium. I wanted to go to LSL High School, but after the second semester into my freshman year, I started to fit in, and I made lots of new friends, and I've learned new things at this school that I never knew I could do. I learned how to draw, I was taught choreography, how to act, how to use a camera, how to edit, how to make a video game. They even showed me how to present it. They have also helped me improve my communication skills. Millennium is a school that no one really knows, but what they should know is that this school helps you unlock any talents that you have, as well as new discovered talents. Everyone is always on you about your work, and they try to help you as much possible to succeed. If our school wasn't great, would kids from Soledad, King City, Greenfield, Prunedale, Marina, Seaside, Pacific Grove, and other unincorporated areas from Monterey County, why would they come to our school when they could go to their local public schools?
Let me go ahead and call up the next three. Amber Nijin, Jonathan Battle, and Nguyen, excuse me, and then Andrew Tiata.
Alrighty, good morning, Board President. Are you guys ready? Good morning, President, Superintendent. My name is Manuel Morales. I'm currently a senior and vice president of my school. I have attended this school my whole high school life and have seen it through its ups and downs. Over the course of my 4 years here, I've found a really big love and love for this school, which is why I ran for vice president. Being here at Millennium, I was able to create a positive and loving environment and relationship with everyone here. It's where I met my best friend Sarah, and then my second family, which is everyone here today. You don't find this type of relationship anywhere. It's a really close environment, and it's full of people who really love each other and are always there for each other. I feel like closing down our school won't just affect us seniors, but affect the whole community as well, because it would force teachers to find new jobs and put stress on students who made Millennium their home and safe haven. Closing down our school puts us seniors in a tough situation because we wouldn't have to just move schools, it would leave our graduation status up in the air. It's not all fair, it's unreasonable. If you really cared about us students like you say you do, you wouldn't, this closing down our school wouldn't be your first choice. We'll continue to fight the fight, sign up for our school. You can't just take away these kids' safe haven and home and expect everyone to be okay with it, because it's not okay. Being able to be yourself freely and explore your individuality is one of the most creative things and loving things that I see in our school, and it's why we can't shut it down. So I hope you guys choose to make this decision wisely and make it not just for you guys, but for us. Thank you.
My name is Rachel Sylvia Flores. I'm a senior at Millennium. I've been going there for 4 years now. Millennium has been very impactful for me. Before Millennium, like most of us, I was bullied, and I had one friend. And then I came to Millennium. I shadowed before I came, and everyone was very inviting and friendly, and so I decided to come here. So Millennium has helped me grow as a person and a student. So I just want to say, I don't know how a Millennium Academy can be put together in no time, like very little time. And I just want to say I will not be going to Millennium Academy if that happens. So I've looked into the graduation requirements for other schools, and I would have to take 9 classes, at least 9 classes to graduate on time. And in the school that I am, like Millennium, I only need 4 more classes to graduate. And so, and I'm more ahead than other students, so just imagine how it's going to be for everybody else. So I just want to be able to graduate at Millennium after 4 years of going there. Not only because it's the easier option for me, but because I love the school that I go to, and I want to be able to say that I graduated from Millennium Charter High School. Thank you.
Hi, my name is I'm a senior this year at Millennium Charter High School, and also last summer I was elected as ASB president, and I love what I do. It feels to me like it's not even like a job or a duty to fill. It's something I love to do, something I really, really enjoy doing. I love spending time with the students here and planning things. It's just so fun to watch things come together and watching them all unite together, and that makes me so happy. And just like on last Friday, there were some freshmen who were crying, and they've only been here for 6 months. What does that tell you? I've been here for 3.5 years, and this is affecting me so hard. Everything is at stake for us. And I'm sure Millennium Academy would be good, but I think Millennium Charter High School is great, and I think we can do a lot better than what was proposed today. I think we deserve another chance to thrive, another chance to soar, another chance to show you how good of a school we are and how great we're gonna be if you let us and give us that chance to do that. I love Millennium Charter High School. It's been my life for 3.5 years now. I hope to make it forward. I hope to graduate from here. My heart has been breaking sitting down, listening to everyone give their testimony and how much the school means to them and how much it's gonna hurt them. Hearing that students wanted to end their lives over bullying and that the schools are safe haven, what does that mean to you? that's something worth fighting for. That is something worth fighting for. I hope you make the right decision.
Hello, my name is Jonathan Bao, and I'm a senior here in Millennium Charter High School. For me, Millennium Charter High School was something extraordinary in my life. I had a lot of great friends, great memories, and a great new life I had. I really wish we could keep this open. First and foremost, we students had a lot of great teachers in the past years. They were amazing, funny, and compassionate. What I love about our teachers is that they inspire us and motivate us to do good in all our classes and get better at our skills. Another great thing is that we have great friends. For me, I had a lot of great new friends, unlike I had back in middle school and elementary school, because most of the time back those years, I've been treated like I don't fit in properly. But here in Millennium Charter High School, everyone has been so kind to me, so I would like to be kind to them back. That's what's special about my great new friends. And also, we students have a lot of great memories. Like we had a lot of fun together, like socializing, hanging out, playing together, and helping each other with our projects, future projects. For me, working with friends on projects, it's creative because we can get things done quickly and perfectly on time. And speaking of projects, we seniors have capstone projects that we would like to finish. Our capstones represent the skills, not just what we've learned from our classes, but they will represent a great future ahead of us. And so please, we beg you not to close our school and let our creative skills rise for a brand new life.
All the next three people up, Mahala Lakapaza, Amy McGaffrey, and Jeremy Nehart.
Go ahead.
Good morning. I am Andrew Deanda. I'm a junior at Millennium Charter High School. So I've been here since my freshman year, and it's been an amazing 3 years so far, and I would just wish that I can also spend a fourth year here. I was very open in middle school, but I couldn't open up to other people since I was in a special ed class, and I only had my classmates. But I didn't know how to open up to teachers or other people in my life. And I remember I wanted to make a change in my life because I went through a lot of stuff that I suffered with work. I always turned in stuff at the last second. I never had teachers who would help support me or didn't really teach me anything. They just gave me a whole bunch of kindergarten work in my special ed classes, and I didn't even figure it out till I was older. And when I came to Millennium, I already started learning like that. Like they were walking through with me, but also I made lots of great friends who I now call my brothers and sisters. I've taken on my music through Millennium. I've learned how to do sound through Millennium thanks to David Alvarez. I have basically worked in the school. I've helped with some events. I've grown up from Millennium, from the child that I used to be. And to see it shut down would be heartbreaking to me. I wouldn't know where to go next. I didn't want to go to Alvarez or North High because I knew I would like die basically in there. I wouldn't know how much I would last. Forgive me if I go a little over time. I'm almost finished. But I've made a family in here, and I feel, like upset for all the other students who don't know where they're going to go, the teachers who don't know where they're going to go if the school is closed. I don't know where I'm going to go, what I'm going to do. And I'm trying to make a living by myself, trying to go deeper in my music and what I'm going to do, how I'm going to make a living in my life. And if the school were to close, I don't know what I'd do next. I don't know what anyone else would do next. And I thank you for your time today. And I thank the school for everything they've done for me, for all the friends, family, and people who have been by my side throughout freshman year, who have helped me raise my voice from the more quieter person that I was, and made me the grown young man that I am today. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Wohlgemuth, and so I asked that you provide me with one extra minute. I prepared a speech, and I hope and wish that I can finish it. So I feel as if this is all a dream, a nightmare, one that I may never recover from, one that will play endlessly in my head, in a maze I may never come out of. My ambitions and my drive to move forward within life come from this school. My self-worth, my confidence, my peace of mind rides on the back of this school. Everything I understand about life's deceitful and envious ways comes from the teachings of this school. I had one ask me, wanted to come to the school at one point in time, what's the point of helping out a school that is full of false promises? To which I simply replied, they carry out their promises just as if they were the ones that put the funds in the beginning of this school. It's a mission. It's full of misfits, outcasts, geeks, and nerds, but together, collectively, we are a family. One that does not simply disband at the thought of disruption, but flourishes in the midst of abrupt scenery. He then proceeds to say, the children that cannot find themselves at a normal school have the love of home, that's what it's for. To which I quickly interjected, no, this school is not just a school, it's a safe haven, to which its differences are substantial. Home is where you lay down, shut your eyes, and eat every day. A safe haven is where you go to be yourself, content in your own skin, without the fears of judgmental people hovering over you. To understand my mind, to understand my pain, you must be in my shoes, live my previous experiences. As a child, I was a misfit. In the grades 2nd through 6th, I was a misfit. After passing with my biological father, and that I only met once, my uncle that showed me the ropes and guidelines of this world, and my teacher that comforted me through all this, passed in the same year. This is the most devastational thing to hear as a child. To those unexpected circumstances, my parents moved me to a small private school, one where I was told that these are the way things are done, that this is right and this is wrong. Coming out of that school, a shy, hurt young boy, putting on a mask everywhere he stepped, a different on each time. I was told that these masks would protect me from the world. No one would want to harm me, so moving into the school where I could finally be myself again, not worrying that I needed to be a little gangster, not worrying that I needed to be a bright light in everyone's eyes, to a place where I could finally again be me, a carefree, happy, content version of me, to a place that only 136 students are aware of, a place that only the misfits, outcasts, geeks, and nerds will understand. A school where your silence is felt and your voice is heard. A school that not only portrays emotion but seeks it out, finds it. Teachers that are not only teaching but that are fighting tooth and nail for our education, not running at the first glimpse of hope. And while they know that students only fill up 70% of the world's density, that they are 100% of our future. These underrated, underpaid teachers can understand my struggle, can understand my pain, my frustration, and to end it all at the cost of what? This quote is something that I made and live by. If you put 50% of your consciousness into what you believe, your outcomes will be circumstantial. Put 100% of your consciousness into what you believe and watch your dreams flourish. By shutting down this school, you will be shutting down a plethora of opportunities and futures. And so, my name is Wohlgemuth, and I choose to fight.
Hello, I'm Amy McAfee. I am Millennium Charter High School Board Secretary, and I'm a parent of a junior. I thank Madam President, the superintendent, staff, and trustees for the opportunity to speak. But I would like to address several things that have been said. The website talks about values held by MCOE and the board, and prominently noted are excellence, accountability, transparency, collaboration, and nonpartisanship. In my experience as board secretary, I have not seen these values enacted consistently. Again, this isn't about blame, but it is about our experience. There have been times when the financial documents that we've requested have not been provided to us in a timely manner. There have been times when we've asked for people to report to us when they have not come. There have been times when members of this body have gone out into the community, your body, have gone out into the community and talked poorly about the school, which makes it very hard to keep enrollment steady. We have not had a nonpartisan, even-handed dealings at all times. It has not been collaborative. We take very seriously the responsibility to make responsible decisions. And when we received the first letter of concern in June, we made changes and cuts. We had a report to our board that we had made appropriate cuts and that we were solvent in the summer. The subsequent finding of the errors happened after that meeting. That deprived us of the opportunity at that time, possibly, to cease operations then. We thought that we, based on the reporting given to us by MCOE, that we were solvent and we were not given the opportunity to make reasonable decisions about our school. And so what we're asking is that we have the opportunity to make those reasonable decisions with correct information.
Thank you.
Our next three speakers to come up, Bill Barber, Natalie Sargent, and Samantha Belici.
Hi, I'm Jeremy Nehart. I'm a senior here at Millennium. Students enrolled at Millennium Charter High School chose to attend the school because it fits the needs of the students as well as their future goals. If you were at my school last Thursday when we all found out the news that, well, our school might be shutting down, no one knew what to do. All the students were in a state of shock. Everyone was like freaking out, and some students were threatening suicide. Like, that's a serious threat. I've had to deal with 2 suicides in my family. Both of my brothers have committed suicide. So this school is like a huge thing because normal schools have like, most students from this school, if they go to a normal school, will commit suicide. That's a big thing because this school is a safe haven that protects the normal, it doesn't follow the normal standards. So like, most students won't even go to the Millennium Academy. They will go to a normal high school. They will have to deal with bullying, and there have been severe cases of bullying in the city of Salinas school systems. Like, I had my next door neighbor house was robbed because her son was bullied. So it's a serious thing. Like, it's not just staying at school anymore. Bullying is an issue that can't be taken care of. They can't deal with it properly. Having the students come from this school and go to another school will you'll end up killing a lot of them. Because this is a safe haven, so they can be who they want to be. So they won't be able to be who they want to be at another school. They'll have to conform to how everybody wants them to be. I had a speech written and I didn't even read it because my heart's pounding. So I know some of you on the board personally, and it's my time's up.
Hi, my name is Belle Barber, and I am a parent, an educator and a parent at Millennium High. This school is really special to me. I've had all of my children here. I'm one of those legacy parents. My son came here on Saturday for a whole year to be part of that first sophomore class. He's had lots of learning issues. This school supported him in every way. He's so successful. He got accepted to a 4-year, chose to go to MPC because he wasn't sure what he wanted to do. Then I had my beautiful daughter last year, just finishing up her first semester at San Francisco State with A's and B's. That's how successful this school set up my kids. And I have a beautiful sophomore who is very comfortable in her skin. Everything about her, every hair on her is beautiful and precious. And this school has supported it from day one. The vision was there, and the vision is still here. Maybe our numbers are low, but I think if you give us a chance, we can come up from those ashes like phoenixes and come up. Just need to give us a chance to do it. Because I have 3 success stories from this school with your vision. And we just need a little more support so that we can have these wonderful students that are going to come out in the future, because they're going to be your community, your voters, your everything. Please give these students a chance. I am testimony that this school is amazing. I support these teachers like their family. When I drop them off, I know they're in a safe place, getting the best education, the best support. I have 2 of my kids with IEPs. They have gone beyond helping them in the classroom, all of them. And I know my Sophia's going to go to a 4-year college with all of her learning issues. And it's all because of this school. And it's a vision that you guys created, that we created. We created it as parents, family parents, and I'm one of those, and I'm still alive. I'm right here, right there. I'm right here still. And I'll be here after Sophia graduates. And I will support this school. So please give us a chance to really work and fix whatever it is that you need us to fix, because I know we can do it, because we're a strong community. And we've survived this time, we can survive much, much longer. Thank you for hearing.
Good morning. My name is Natalie Surgeon, and I have 2 amazing girls that go to Millennium Charter School who I'm very proud of. And anytime I'm in conversation with other parents from other schools, despite the bad press, I always step up and sing the praises of the programs that have been amazing for them. I have a daughter who has learning disabilities and challenges, and it's the first time after struggling through conventional education that she gets herself up at 5:30 in the morning every day to be ready. It's a big personal sacrifice to get them transported to the school every single day. And I can clearly understand, after hearing all of the other parents and children speak, why we have come together as a community, because we have so much in common. And that is at the heart of what you created in the very beginning. I always take the opportunity to teach my girls about voting and the power of having a voice. And so when we pulled up this morning, I had the opportunity to say, do you see these people protesting and with signs? Being a woman born in this time and age, it can't get better than being an American and having the right and the voice and the power to say that we do not agree. This is a huge blessing. And so I know that a lot of you feel that this is insurmountable, the challenges and the obstacles. But if you have the money to start another program, I challenge you to dig deep for your creativity and show these children, whom many feel invisible and outcasted by society, that their voices count for something, that they didn't show up this morning for no reason. And you have the power to reinforce that for them, because these are your future voters.
Can I ask the next 3 people to come up? Michelle Belisi, Dennis Doan, and Lisa Filsick.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Samantha Balachi, and I'm a sophomore at MCHS. Before I went to that school,
I was bullied every day. I've been to a lot of different schools. I was physically and verbally bullied before I came to this school. The second I even just shadowed at this school, I found a place where I felt like I belonged. And I don't want you to take that away from me.
That's my daughter. She's got to be a little emotional. My name is Michelle Bellagey. My daughter is Samantha, a sophomore at Millennium. I'm also the PTO vice president at Millennium and have been very involved in the school since the first day she stepped in those doors. I can't tell you what the school has done for her. It pulled her out of the depths of very dark places where she was told she was worthless, she didn't belong here, you need to go away, we don't like you, simply because of who she was, simply because of what she looked like, simply because she had blonde hair and blue eyes. She's gone to school in Monterey, she's gone to school in King City. She has never once had a single good day at school until she stepped into Millennium High School. Now I can't force her to stay home when she's sick. I literally have to force her to stay home. I want each and every one of you, some of you who have had kids graduate from Millennium very successfully and got to fulfill that. Let these kids do the same. This is not just a school, this is their lives at stake here. That each and every one of you hold personally responsible in your hands. Each and every one of these lives you hold in your hands right now. You have the opportunity to do the right thing, to make these kids feel wanted, like they matter. You close the school, you're telling every one of them they do not matter to you. God forbid something happens to any one of these children. Each and every one of you will be solely responsible. I want you to go home tonight, lay your head down, think about these kids when you close your eyes, see their faces, and what you are doing to them, and their futures, their lives, their hope, their dreams. When you're spending the holiday season with your families and your children gathered around celebrating, one of these won't be. Think about that. Ponder it, take it very serious. I've heard these children. I've heard it myself. I've counseled these children who are threatening to take their lives. This is serious. This is not a joke. This is not a threat. This is not a game. This is their lives that you each hold. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Dennis Doan. I have a junior here. And I think, Dr. Kotowski, you can see just by creating the school, you've obviously saved at least one student's life, given them a place they can go and feel safe. I mean, look at these people. They're kids that are might possibly commit suicide. And this school, they help each other. Each child is another child's counselor at this school. They're another child's teacher. This isn't a normal school. Look, we got all these people here. And Mr. McPherson said just last week he got all these calls of what's going on. Well, now we all know. Give us a chance to fight, to try to raise money, to try to raise the ADA. Give us the end of the semester, and then if we can't, we don't. But give us a chance to fight. I'm worried about children's lives here, okay? That's the bottom line.
Our next three speakers, Jeanette Bernal, Steve McDougall, and Malulia Lagavada Talbot.
Hardest job in the room, right there. Reading off the names. My name is Lisa Gilsick. I'm the special education porter at Millennium. I've been teaching there about 2 years. And as I stood in the back, I was very impressed with the voices that I heard. As I sat there, I realized that I was seeing students' voices that are typically underrepresented in education. I'm seeing young women, I'm seeing students of color, English language learners. I'm seeing students who are at risk, students of LGBTQ identity to identify that way, and I'm listening to them in it. When I graduated CSUMB for Human Communications, we heard a phrase a lot, speak truth to power. We just heard a student speak his truth to power in slam poetry. That's pretty awesome, right? And I think that is a better demonstration of what Millennium produces than anything I could say, than any test result. I mean, these are concerned, intelligent citizens who feel empowered and courageous to speak their truth. And I'm excited for them to graduate, and that's what Millennium produces, the type of young adult and citizen. I'm the special education coordinator. My focus is on the 32 students at Millennium who have special education needs. And what I hear in this, I hear a lot of the really unique things about the special education program at Millennium being represented today. The typical student with special ed needs in Monterey County spends about 80% of their time in the general education classroom. At Millennium, the average student with special education needs spends 98% of their academic time in the general education environment. That is a huge success. We also have about 98% graduation rate for students with special needs. They graduate with a high school diploma. They've been accepted directly into two-year colleges, and 95% of those 32 students plan to go into a 2- or 4-year college or a trade school. The other 5% plan to join the military or enter the workforce directly. That's a success. For 100% of my students to have a plan for what they want to do after high school, that's amazing. The federal law requires that schools provide students with special needs with the least restrictive environment, and at Millennium we do that. And that mandate needs to be considered in whatever decisions being made today. Thank you very much.
Good morning, my name is Ronald, and I am a senior at Millennium. 4 years of education, freshman year just getting to know all my fellow community in a new environment. Sophomore year, new relationships, a new foundation. Junior year, the greatest one of them all. Senior year, I waited 4 years to achieve the proudest moments of my short life here. When we're told that they're taking our school, shutting the doors, silencing our words. This is my education, our education. 5 months before graduating, before our last winter ball, prom, and senior trip, we're told they hadn't allowed our school to continue, that our diplomas, our lives are less valuable to the county than pride and money. So today I stand here with this poem, hoping to open people's mind. Our teachers have seen us grow for all this time, have stood tall and stayed along us, even on our worst days. This is not just a school, we're a family. I don't want to worry about finishing the school year somewhere else, to lose these educators who have taught us about life and helped us through hardships, to lose our credits that won't transfer. We do not want to break this bond. Please don't strip us away from our right to graduate.
Ladies and gentlemen, board, MCOE staff, I'm Steve McDougall, the Saline Valley Federation of Teachers. I represent 841 contract teachers in the Saline Union High School District. 4 of you were on the board when Millennium was when the charter was first authorized at that time. And I was called into the superintendent's office at the time and asked to come down and speak against the authorization of the charter at that time. And when I showed up, I was the only one here. Thanks a lot, Sue. So at that time, I was speaking with my brain. It was about dollars and cents. You know, every 30 kids that come out of the Saline Union High School District and go somewhere else equates to a contract teacher. So there's some interest there. So today, thinking with my brain, I don't relish your task. Because my brain says, yeah, you're right, technically, on paper, to pull close the purse strings and call an end to this. However, my heart thinks differently. When you look out behind me here, I mean, first of all, you got parents that made an economic choice to be here today as opposed to being at work. Either they're burning sick leave or taking a pay doc or something. On the other hand, more importantly, somehow they were able to drag most of the campus out here on vacation. Wow, that's amazing. And it's a school that's created a culture. And it's emotional to close a school at any time. And it's not easy. So I don't have advice for you one way or the other. I realize the task, and I know it's awesome. School, everybody thinks running a school, people outside of education think running a school is easy and teaching is easy. It's hard, it's difficult. Revenue streams are violent. They come and go. Who knows when the next recession is? But I will say this. I'm down the street, or I'm headed here when I'm done speaking, get back to work. If you need my help, I'm willing to help however I can. That's all I have to say.
Have our next 3 speakers come up and Josh Wilms, Tina Martinez Picasso, and Diego Picasso.
So, good morning, MCOE board. Good morning, Ms. Nancy. As I sat here and was listening to the students talk, just things started running through my head. So first of all, here's a thought. I'm sure it's not as simple as I'm making it sound, but if you wanted to fill the 64 slots needed to bring the school to a 200, to the 200 capacity, what about the thought of mainstreaming special education into Millennium, because they'd be welcome with these kids with open arms? That might be something to think about. I'm sure it's not as easy as it seems. So I didn't know much about the financial situation today until I heard people speak. That situation is between MCOE and the Millennium School Board, and I hope it can be solved in the best interest of all and give the school a little bit more time. My grandson attends Millennium High School. We've raised him since birth. The choice for him to attend this school was simple. And by the way, my grandson is Mohala Andreas Nahe Nahe Lagapa, and he is a free thinker, believe me. And yes, we did send him to a private school for 2 years, but I think it was a little too safe for him, and he needed to think out of the box, so he made the choice to move to Millennium. In his 9th grade year, we were going to send him to a private school in Monterey, but that was not what he wanted to do, so we honored his wishes. So anyways, the choice for him to attend this high school was simple, arts and technology. Mohala has a brother who attends North Salinas High School. No wonder I can't see. And he loves football, but North Salinas High School is not for Mohala. He loves to think outside of the box. I call him a free thinker, and that's okay because that's who he is. He's a free spirit. When we heard that this school could possibly shut down like all other parents, we were not prepared. In talking with a friend, I realized that there was no time, and I feel that this was probably in the works for a while. So getting the news out to the public at the last minute makes everyone have to scramble, especially since it's winter break. Yes, the school has had instability and turnovers over the last years, but since the arrival of Miss Burns, changes has taken place. She has created a stable, secure, excited to learn, but most importantly for myself and my husband, a bully-free environment which allows our grandson to learn without anxieties and insecurities. I'm glad we chose to stay at Millennium when so many others decided to leave, and things changed last year. It has been the best decision for my grandson. He has talked to us and said that his safe haven is now at risk, and all I can answer to him was, I know, and I am sorry. You know, as a grandparent, my responsibility, I feel, I've raised 6 children. I've been mothering for 35 years. I have not stopped diapering and mothering for 35 years. And what I find has been the most important thing as a parent that I think is to put a child out in the world that has stability and is a respectable citizen. Anything else above and beyond that is icing on the cake. I know the highest of the highs and the lowest of the lows. My daughter was homeless for 17 years, and she has just returned to our family, and I can say today that she is clean. After 2 years, and I'm proud and I love her very much. And I also have a son who is in the United States Air Force. He has been nominated as the #1, I'm very nervous, excuse me, air traffic controller, and not just the United States Air Force, but in all forces. And we went and he received an award in Washington, D.C. last year. So the best interest of all of these children, it's a choice that they want to make, and it shouldn't be a choice that you make. And I thank you for your time.
My name is Josh Williams. I'm a student at Millennium Charter High School. I'm a sophomore. and I have ADHD, and I have not gotten help at San Antonio, I have not gotten help at King City, I have gotten help at Millennium. So for you guys to take that away is wrong. I'm sorry, I do not like you guys at all. I don't. You guys are trying to take my school because why? Because you guys are going to get the money from making Millennium Academy. None of these students are going to Millennium Academy. No one wants Millennium Academy. Why take it away? It's going to cost a lot more to make Millennium Academy than to just help fund us till the end of the year. Why take our school away? When this is what we love, why are you going to put a bunch of students who hate your school into your school? Why? Because you guys want the money from Millennium Academy.
So, my name is David Picasso. I'm another confused and concerned senior at Millennium Charter. I just wanted to say that Millennium is unique. And, you know, the whole student body and even the staff too, we're just one big family full of incredibly talented and creative and intelligent weirdos. And I think like Millennium's the only school where you can call the entire student base and staff body weirdos and they'll be like, yeah, we're weirdos. That's cool. And you know, you walk through the halls, you just see people on their sketchbooks or writing down things in their journals, working collaboratively on projects or like making music, rocking out with like a drum set or just doing stuff on the computer, Photoshop, all that sort of thing. And one of the biggest things that you hear are people singing in the halls. And I've never been to any other school or heard anyone at any other school say that there's like people singing in the halls. And I know for a lot of people that go to the school, singing to them is like a really secluded thing or like a really personal, special thing. Like they don't let anyone else hear them sing, or if they sing, it's only like in the shower or whatever. But they feel safe enough to actually sing in the hallways in front of everyone. And the sound travels far because it's just this narrow hallway with tons of glass. Sound bounces everywhere. And basically, what I want to say is, at Millennium, it provides this whole environment, this whole academic structure that you cannot find at any other school. They actually prepare you for careers out in the open world that like no other school can do. If you want to do something with theater or something with like cinematography or making movies, whatever, all the stuff in this black box or Studio A, whatever, and like all the going to football games and filming stuff, setting up events at Sherwood Hall, or just making art or like advertisements for all the other businesses and whatever that we'll have coming in. That's what's going to help us prepare, or that's what's going to prepare us for these jobs within those CTE requirements or whatever classes that we're in. And taking that away is really going to be a huge detrimental piece to all of these students. All of them, like, they really depend on this, and it's what they want to do, but it's, I think I made my point somewhere. I'm getting too jumbled, I apologize. Thank you for your time.
If we can have Helen Wayne, Andrew Gonzalez Cruz, and Christina Harry.
Good morning, Madam President, Dr. Kotowski, and trustees. My name is Tina Martinez Picasso, and I am Diego Picasso's mom. We chose Millennium because we believed in its goal to create a learning environment that would inspire students, develop their critical thinking skills, and a love of learning. To me, the school has made good on this goal and provided students with a safe learning environment where students don't have to worry about fitting in. It is a school-supportive environment and its rigorous and relevant program that has made a difference for many students, my son included. Last year, as a junior, my son standard exceeded on both math and language arts on the statewide Smarter Balanced Assessment. But not only did he score standard exceeded, but he scored 6 points below the highest score possible. And I bring that to you because I want you to know that this was made possible by the supportive environment, by the staff, by the students working together. I didn't pay for any tutors. I didn't go out and have to look for anyone else. It was that supportive environment that made the difference for my son. And again, to score 6 points below the highest score possible, how many of our schools can say that they're doing that for our students? And I want to ask you, why would you want to close down a school that shows such promise? Please know that I too am not here to point fingers, to place blame. That's not going to help the students or the school. I'm here to ask that you think about the dedicated staff and the students at Millennium High and the negative impact that shutting the school down in the middle of the year would have on all of their lives. I urge you to see this predicament as an opportunity to improve communication and model for our students and the community how to persevere and problem solve so that a transition plan that allows students to continue their education uninterrupted is reached. Thank you.
Good morning, Board of Trustees, Dr. Kotowski, and member staff. My name is Helen Wong. I'm with the California Charter School Association. I'm the regional manager of advocacy. First of all, I have to say I've been to many board meetings and heard many public comments, but this is a very unique crowd. They make my talk very boring, but there's so much. But anyway, I have been working with the Millennium School and my team as well for the past month or so. I think it's very unfortunate, I have to say, that the school found themselves to be in such a difficult financial situation. And also, it's very unfortunate this whole process of unfolding the financial situation has not been as transparent and collaborative as we hoped it could have been. At the California Charter School Association, we strongly believe in transparency, quality, and accountability, and I think that goes to both charter schools and charter authorizers. I really appreciate all the efforts the staff and the board has taken trying to keep the students as the first at the heart of the consideration, but I also have to say we should agree that the community of the school, including their staff, their board, the families, the students, would know the best what they need are. So I highly encourage the board, the staff, to take time, not to make any rush decision that will hurt the community. We all know closing the school in the middle of the school year is the most disruptive thing you could do to a school. So I encourage the board to include the Millennium community in a meaningful conversation and come up to a mutually agreed upon decision that's best for the kids for the future. So I just remind us, at the end of the day, let's all keep kids the first because our decision make a deep impact to them. Thank you for your time.
Before I begin, I just want to say really quickly that I could have every single last one of your undivided attention. I'd also ask for indulgence ahead of time because I feel as if I will pass by the 2-minute mark, which, by the way, is not enough time for us to speak out about what we have to say. I don't really consider myself something special. You hear all these different stories of people that have wanted to commit suicide in the past, and I'm at a loss for words. To be honest, I really don't know what to say because everybody else has already made their claims. But so far, all I've seen is every single one of you just taking side notes or taking comments amongst each other instead of listening to each and every single one of us. This school means something to me. I'm a transfer student from North Salinas High School. I came here in the hopes of finding something better for myself. I had nothing when I was at North High. No ambitions, no career in mind, nothing. When I came here, I reunited with old friends, met new ones, and found this place for me to stay. So believe me when I say that when I get the information that this school is shutting down without us being told this ahead of time, you cannot imagine how much that hurts. And I get it. I completely get why you have to do this. Okay? It's all just a matter of keeping those $2 extra in your pocket. I get it. And I also understand that this is a decision that has to be made. I initially had a proposal to have this school maintain until the end of the year so that we can have seniors graduate and the freshmen, sophomores, and juniors all accommodate for the next year. But I will say, I am interested in the idea, your first in that idea of maintaining the school by having us keep all the revenue and manage it for ourselves. But I do wish that you do keep the condition that you give the teachers the pay that they deserve to continue giving us the education that we need. When I leave here today, I'm expecting to come back in January and continue my education. If I don't come back and everything goes down in hell, that's on you.
Enrique Fuentes, Pamela Montu, and Linda Mendoza.
Hi, my name is Christina Carey. I'm an alumni of Millennium Charter High School. I graduated just this June. I attended all my 4 years here, and since everyone else is getting it out there, I just want to get it out there too. I am a bisexual woman. I struggle with learning disabilities, with mental illnesses like depression, anxiety, OCD, and PTSD. And it is through this school that I have been able to make friends in my teachers, in the fellow students, in the parents. I was the one who put in my application 4 years ago because I wanted to go here. My mother is in the back. She drove me even though she struggled every day to drive me. My favorite teacher, the best teacher I've ever had here, Mr. Ronald, is here. He's been able to change my life in more ways than just through his education. The students here have been there for me, have made me feel welcomed and needed and wanted. When I didn't get that in a public school in Seaside Middle, I was physically and verbally bullied, and I am also a suicide attempt survivor and a self-harm survivor. And I thank God every day that I am still here to experience the love and the want and the need of the people around me. I feel it every day. And I'm also an introvert. I've never been comfortable making friends, and I've been able to make friends here. Even though I'm really nervous and struggling, I'm also a force to be reckoned with, as well as many people here. And I will forever be grateful for the people that I have met, whether I stayed friends with them or not. And I really do respect the board, and I hope that we can work together, because I really do believe that no matter what has happened, that we can work together and we can stand up and we can change everything and make a difference. And I thank you for your time.
All right, so my name is Enrique Fuentes. I am an alumni of Millennium Charter High School, and I graduated in 2017. And I want to tell you something. You want to shut down the school, but look at me. I am a success story. I have beaten pre-diabetes. I was 310 pounds when I entered the school. Look at me now. I have beaten suicidal thoughts. I've attempted suicide once. Look at me now. I have autism spectrum disorder. I have subjugated that. I am going to Hartnell College right now, and I am planning to get my PhD in psychology. Look at me now. This school was part of what made me where I am today, and you want to shut it down. Do you not want that for all these people? You don't. That's why you're shutting this down. Millennium Academy will not give them that. I'm sorry. So my dream is to go into theology, and I do not think you guys can forgive yourselves for that. Once I am done with my theology degree, inshallah, I'll be here. See you guys get forgiven, all right? Have a good day.
Next three people, Melissa De La Rosa, Jared Anderson, and Joseph Maloth.
Hi, my name is Pamela Monteith. My son was in the first graduating class, and we had a family tragedy. It took him an extra year to graduate, and the school was remarkable to help him not quit, in a 5-year high school. Anyway, the whole conversation today when I came in was about fiscal responsibility and how everybody should operate with at least a reserve. Well, some of us live paycheck to paycheck. It just doesn't work that way. So I hope you give the school an opportunity to come back. I feel like you sort of kicked this woman down, and to do it at this inappropriate timing. I concur with everybody here.
Good morning, my name is Linda Mendoza, and excuse me if I get a little bit emotional. I am, of course, a parent of a senior at Millennium Charter High School, but I'm also an educator with Salinas City Elementary School District for 19 years. And my husband is founding faculty at California State University, Monterey Bay. So education is true to our hearts as a family. I joke that our daughter's 4th words in their vocabulary was college, and it has been an expectation since the time of their birth. As public educators, it was hard for me to send my child to a charter high school. I thought, but when my husband told me about Millennium back in 2013-14, he was like, this is an answer to a prayer for us. Both of our daughters are highly theater actresses, music people, and we knew that it would be a place that they could fit in. So Millennium for my youngest daughter, yes, she's had her ups and downs. There's been good days and bad days, and I think most parents here would say that about their child and their high school experience. So, as an educator, I also understand as a board where you're coming from. Our principal had this same talk with our staff at our staff meeting at the beginning of December, that our district is also in fiscal, trouble, and what our outcome is. So I understand that part. I think a lot of people here don't have that same inside track that I do as an educator, but they came to us 3 years in advance before they see problems happening to get solutions, for us to be creative and how we can help. So they didn't come to us the Thursday before Christmas break to say we're closing our school. They came with many years to help plan so we can work together to try to solve the problem of declining enrollment across Monterey County, not just at Millennium Charter High School. All districts are suffering from declining enrollment, and I think that's something that really needs to be looked at. Millennium's lost 20 kids compared to a district, I was told we lost over 1,000. So I really think that declining enrollment is an issue all throughout Monterey County, not just Millennium Charter High School. I just had a quick question for the board, was when did you, or have you ever visited Millennium Charter High School or an event that was taking place there? Could anyone share one of those visits with us? You're our board. Aren't you supposed to be out in the public, checking the schools, seeing what's going on? Not one of you raised a hand that you have been to a back-to-school night at Millennium Charter High School, have been to a concert that was put on there. That's all I can say. Get involved with all of your schools that you're representing and all the students that attend there. And please keep thinking of ways to keep it open. My daughter will not attend Millennium Charter Academy. I don't know how we'll figure this out, but go back to the vision, but get involved. I had a feeling that none of you could raise your hand that you've been to Millennium Charter High School. Thank you.
Just real quick, if you have not turned in a request to speak, we ask that you get it done as soon as possible in the next 2 minutes, and that way we can finish up everybody's ability to talk to us. Thank you.
Good morning. Thank you for letting me speak. I'm not happy to be here at all over Christmas break. It's not what I planned on. First and foremost, I think our students, especially our seniors, have been here since the beginning, somewhat the beginning of the school, and I think that they are now paying the price for the irresponsible decisions that were made by previous administration, previous Millennium board, and that board was made up, created by MCOE. I think to give a principal the power to fire the majority of our teachers was completely irresponsible, and how that was even written into the charter, I have no idea. I think that, of course, that's going to affect our enrollment, and I think we are slowly making that up. I think when there are financial errors made, we, Millennium Charter High School Board, should be given an appropriate amount of time. So if it took a year to discover the mistake, we should be given a year to make up for that deficit. It should not be, we found the mistake, now I'm sorry, you're in debt and you need to close. I have a daughter who's a senior. I am extremely concerned about her education. She just, to be asked, think of your senior year in high school and to be told that your last semester, you're gonna go to a new school, whether it's this new Millennium Academy or Salinas High or a private school, you're now in your last semester and you have to make new friends and you're in a new environment. She won't have prom, a senior prom. She won't have her yearbook that she's working on. It's just unfair to put that off. I say if this school has problems, it needs to be looked at and it should be dealt with at the end of the school year, not mid-year, not one, with a couple weeks coming up before the next semester starts. That's just cruel to our children, and I think those should be the most important thing and not the dollar. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Hi, thank you for letting us speak today. I appreciate it. My name is Jared Anderson, and my question for the board is, how well do you know the students here at Millennium? I know that I could probably name almost all the students' names here. Even though I don't know them personally, I can name them because I see them around, I know them. I still don't attend the school anymore because I graduated, and I still follow them on Instagram, social media. I keep up to date with things. I was planning to go to a couple events going on that I don't know will still be going on. There's still be something I can look forward to reconnecting with teachers here, students that are still going here. I just ask for the board to maybe come to some of those events, socialize, get to know the kids better. Because they're not just kids, they're young adults, they're individuals who are very creative, very strong, beautiful individuals. And I just wish that this could be a good turning point for everything. And that you could look us in the eyes and tell us that you strongly believe in the school and in our mission as much as we do. And I just want to say thank you for letting us speak here, and I really hope that we can move forward from this, and this could be a good point to build from. So, thank you.
Our next three, we have Owen Mendoza, Julia Minharo, and Alexander Heredia.
Go ahead.
Good morning, my name is Mr. Molleth, or Joseph Molleth. This is a school of misfits, as most of our students have told you, and myself and Mr. Erickson are kings among them. We enjoy being part of this school. We enjoy being able to help the students that are here. I grew up in Modesto. I did not have any opportunities such as MCHS, and my mother actually had to shoulder the responsibility of homeschooling because there was no other option. And with that, surprisingly, I actually went into the education field. My mom pushed for engineering, pushed for all these glorious different careers, and I chose to get in the trenches with the education field and fight for the students that were very much like me. And I've substituted in various different districts. I've substituted in Napa and Sonoma, and then I actually applied for Millennium Charter and got the call while I was in Ireland, and was the only call I'd gotten to be accepted at Millennium Charter High School. And since then, I've fallen absolutely in love with the school. There have been ups and downs, there have been problems, but overall, this has been a great place to allow for students that need an alternative location to come to. Now, it's been said, and I do not mean to turn words or to blame anyone, but it was said specifically that you would incorporate Millennium into Millennium Academy and use it to actually take part of the alternative schooling system. The hard part is that a lot of the students that go to your alternative school system, those students are the ones that our students are trying to avoid. And these are the students that we don't want to necessarily have our students be going into a negative environment to. As I tried to teach all of my students in previous years, accept who you are and revel in it. My previous seniors will know this from Tuesdays with Maury, a wonderful book that we've covered. I hope that you will allow our students to also continue to accept who they are and revel in it at Millennium Charter Academy. Millennium Charter High School. Thank you so much for your time.
My name is Owen Mendoza. I am not a public speaker, so please bear with me. I attended Millennium Charter High School for my first 2 years and part of my junior year. I left my junior year and it was not my choice. I would have loved to stay, but some things came up. I had to change schools. I absolutely hated my school when I left, so as soon as possible, I decided to take the California High School Proficiency exam, and now I'm a high school graduate, and I am no longer in school, and I'm just working right now. Sometimes before school, or before work and after work, I will come to Millennium Charter High School to visit, and on my off days, you can almost guarantee I'm there. I just love visiting. I have so many friends here, and they're so welcoming. Every time I just come back, I am no longer a student, so they could easily just not let me in, but everybody there loves me, and I love them. So it's a huge blessing just to be a part of this community and know everybody here, and you don't get that anywhere else. I can guarantee you that. So to see all of this unfold in front of my eyes and not be able to do anything about it, that's why I'm here right now. I'm using my voice to try to save our school, and with all the help from our students and staff, that's why I'm here.
Good morning, my name is Judy. I'm a senior at Millennium Charter High School, and I'm here to tell you guys that an alternative school program is not what you want. My freshman year, I was an at-risk student, and I came from an alternative school to Millennium. And it turned into my safe haven as well. The school has shaped and molded me into the person that I am today, and I stand here today telling you guys that without Millennium, I just wouldn't be this person. I would be a completely different story, a lost case maybe. Because of Millennium, I have scholarships from Irvine and Pepperdine, schools that I would have never dreamt of getting into. Because of the way that the school is set up and all the rigorous courses that we take and all that the school has to offer, I now am in partnership with programs like Spotify or iHeartRadio, and I've gotten an internship at KSVW. And you're taking away a very special thing from the Salinas community. Or from California itself. You're causing a detriment to the students now and generations to come. And I would like for you guys to put yourself in our shoes for a second. You wouldn't want this for yourself either. And Ms. Kotowski mentioned that it was erroneous for us to keep the school open. But I think that your statement was erroneous. Your attitude is erroneous. The decision that you want to make is erroneous. And so I just ask that you please put yourself in our shoes one last time and reconsider the idea of helping our school rather than tear us down.
Our next three speakers, if we can have Esther Tablante, Andrew Palafox, and Veronica Ibarra.
Go ahead.
Good morning, board members. My name is Alexander Heredia. I'm a former graduate Millennium Charter High School. I'm currently attending Feather River College, and I feel what you guys are doing isn't right for these kids. When I was here, the first few years, I didn't like it because it just didn't have sports and stuff, but I picked it up, and I feel like I could do it anywhere in Millennium. It just feels like a family. It's a small. These kids won't experience the other things they're experiencing here. They won't fit in other schools. When I was here, I didn't really pay much attention, but what I did notice is that there's a lot of different types of kids, and they could just be who they are. Like, nobody really judges them for who they are, and they're just free to do whatever they want. And this school also has a great education, great teachers, and if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be where I am today. I would be the academic student I am today, and I feel these students have to go through the same thing I did. They need to experience and finish high school right here. Especially the seniors. I had a great senior year, and I feel like they need to go through the same thing I did, because it'll help them a lot. And I just feel there's no reason to shut down the school just to build another one. Just keep this one. This is where they belong. It's a family for them. You can't just tear these kids apart, especially my little brother. I feel this is where he fits in the most. I just hope you guys will show it. Thank you.
My name is Monterey. I'm currently a sophomore at the school. I am not a public speaker. I don't have a speech, but after hearing everyone talk about how they would be affected by the school closing down, and me personally, I have plans to do after the school year. I have stuff I want to finish and accomplish. But now knowing that the school might close down after the end of this year, I don't know what else to do. And I've only been here for a few months, and I felt all the love and all the support from teachers and classmates. And I want to see the school succeed. I want to see all my classmates and peers succeed. And without the school being open, I don't know if we'll ever get to have that chance. And so, the school needs to be open to all of these students that have the chance to be able to be themselves and let their voices be heard. And the academy that's going to happen, it won't help. It's just going to end the dreams that students want to accomplish with this school. And so, I regret not being able to know all of the students or knowing their dreams, but I want to be able to help the school stay open for at least the end of the school year. So thank you.
Hello there, my name is Andrew Palafox, and I am a senior from Millennium Charter High School. And I guess I'll just start off by saying that right off the bat, from the very beginning, I thought I would never find any other high school that I would feel like it would serve a purpose at. But when I first heard of Millennium, at first I thought I wasn't so sure how it was going to be a turnout for me to fit in. Then up until now, for at least 4 years later, now up to here, I see potential in any other student here that goes to Millennium. We all have talents, we all have backgrounds, and for reasons why we ended up here. But when I think about it now, we actually serve a purpose here. And for all of you board members, to take a moment to actually think about how much this really means to us. We thought we would never find anywhere else to be at today. Because the way how I see it, Millennium is a place where we can all grow. A place where we can all express, even to show pretty much our passion for anything. And so now at this moment, I never thought that this was going to happen in this situation now. But all I would want is just to say at least just two things, what I would hope. That we can find a way to resolve and just take a moment to think about what really matters the most for the whole community of the school. Thank you.
We have Amanda Roseborough, Renee Ortega, and Haley Bringus come up.
Hi, my name is Radhika, and I was mostly a shy girl growing up. And I went to Gallant View. I lost 2 friends. They bullied me. I thought I had friends, and I lost them. I had amazing teachers there, and I went to North High. I sat by myself. No one liked me. Everyone was laughing at me, just looking at me, thinking I'm a weirdo. I wanted to find a school right for me. And then there was Alvarez. I had some friends. I still got bullied, and I came to Millennium. My mom showed me Millennium. It was really amazing. I love it. Everyone appreciates me. Everyone loves me. Everyone accepts me who I am. And I love that. I love everybody here. Everybody loves me, and I want them to know I want them to stay here. I love everybody. Everybody's accepting who they are. And I just want to. I want to stay here and finish my year. I don't want to go to another school. I was thinking about doing suicide and everything. I cut myself and everything. I want to stay here. I want the school to stay open. Why you guys are doing this to me? You guys are supposed to care about us. We are students. We're not just people. We're just family. These are my sisters and brothers. They care for me. Why? Why are you guys doing this to us? I just want this school to stay open, please. Please just find your heart. You're gonna go home, go to sleep, wake up, think this is all a dream, this is real life. Everyone's crying. All these faces you see are not gonna be here. They're gonna be gone. I don't know what to do anymore. My mom's gonna lose her job. I don't know. I have some amazing friends. I have Skylar, I have Johanna, I have Andrew, I have all these amazing people. I just want the school to stay open. Please find your heart. Thank you.
So I'm coming to you now as a community member, taking off my board member hat. My son was also in the first graduating class at MCHS. And I was not planning on speaking again today. I also wasn't planning on becoming a board member 2 years ago. And I am doing both of those things because when my son was at school here, we thought there were some things that needed to be fixed. And our family philosophy is that when you see something that needs to be fixed, you fix it, but you don't shut it down. And MCHS has been through a lot of points where it could have been shut down, but we figured out how to move forward. And that is what we have a chance to, we adults have a chance to model for these students, is how to move forward, not how to quit. I'm an accountant, and so I really embrace the concept of fiscal accountability. I also recognize that it is not the only concept that needs to govern our world. There are so many other concepts that we have to reckon with and use in our day-to-day lives, and we have such an amazing chance right now to work together as adults and come up with some creative ideas. And we've all heard today about how important it is that we do that. We're in the spotlight right now. We have a chance to shine. And my particular kid wouldn't have made it without Millennium. He wouldn't have graduated high school, so. Hi, I'm Renee Ortega. I'm a junior here at Millennium, and my mom also works here, front desk. And, okay, so I'd like to start by saying, like, sorry to point you out, but I have known your family since like kindergarten, so you have to know how it feels to see other people at least go through this. And it's like, I'm at a loss for words right now, so I'm just gonna figure it out. But it's like, it's really tough to go through this. I've been through a lot in the past month, especially this past month. And it's just one blow after the other. I have tried to kill myself. I've tried many times, and I've failed each time, and it only makes me stronger. And coming here, my freshman year, I came home one day, and I'm like, Mom, I feel like I'm at home now. And as cheesy as it sounds, I actually said that. And to take it away, like, I understand that some things just, like, some people feel like they need to do certain things, but they don't really need to do it. So just think about that. Like, you don't really have to do it. There's always another way.
Nicholas Flavo, Jasmine Gray, and Adriel Roscoe.
Go ahead. My name is Ailey, and I'm a sophomore here at Millennium. And all I want to say is that before I came to this school, I was called a few things, such as Asian freak, useless, and probably many more things behind me like that. I was always shy. I was really quiet. I never felt like I could have been anything, just some kid who was good at art or that weird kid in the back. But to be honest, the school really changed me. At first, I never really wanted to go here. As a matter of fact, I was scared. But eventually, it was only a matter of time until I found my people that I'm really proud to call my friends. Without this school, I don't think I would be this confident to speak out right now, or even actually like school for once. The school not only changed my life, but it changed many other remarkable people's life too. From what I recall somewhere in this meeting, I believe that one of you said that NCHS is the heart of this place, and yet you're shutting it down. What does that say about you? Not only that, but many students aren't even going to probably attend whatever academy you have planned for Millennium, so what's the point? I've lost so many things this year, and the last thing I want to do is lose my school and my friends.
Hello. Hello there, board. I didn't expect to talk today, actually. Very weird. Anyway, look at all these people you see surrounding you. All of different races, nationalities, backstories. Seems like a crossover to me. But anyway, this school is interesting. It's fairly fun. It's enjoyable to see all the principals, all the interesting people you can come across, all the weird hair colors, and all the interesting stuff that happens. I did not expect for me to go such a wild ride that feels like a love roller coaster. I expect a lot of musical references. I am really nervous, as you can tell. So, I did not expect to see some of the people here today. Lawyers, you, Miss President, Madam President, and others. But this school has shown me how weirdos and some suicide for people who have tried human suicide and didn't, which is good. Good. So to be part of a family together, that I didn't think that with all these weird connections and all our good times, but you're gonna also forgive me if I go over the time limit. Well, I'll tell you. I'm gonna take my glasses for this. The fact is that this school is important because I did not think that there would be so many people with similar interests to mine in music and band work and plenty of others. I'm getting crying. I just hope that when you think about this, And knowing that there are a couple of news outlets out there that might comment on this in the future, whatever decision you make, whatever happens to you, every breath you take after this moment, if you decide to shut the school down, you'll be losing a lot of people, and you might be losing a lot of money. Also, by the way, if you get responsible for suicide attempts or murders, don't say it was my fault.
My name is Jasmine. I'm a junior at the school. Honestly, I don't know how to handle the news. I'm a little in shock, and I've been dealing with it by laughing over nothing. In 8th and 9th grade, I was homeschooled because I couldn't step foot in my class because I'd always have a panic attack because I was scared. Homeschooling didn't turn out very good because I procrastinated a lot. And I heard of Millennium, and I gave it a try. And my panic attacks were really bad. I was having several a day, and I was scared because I didn't know when I would have another one. But at Millennium, if I had a panic attack, I could go down to the office, and they were okay with it. And I'd calm down, and I'd go to my class, and I would be fine. It was really hard, but now, instead of having 10 panic attacks each week, I have one once a month. And I'm so happy because at school I feel safe, and in the office, and everyone accepts me. And everyone knows me for being super random and talking about nonsense, and for having big curly hair, and yeah, calling me a palm tree and stuff, but like, I really love this school, and I love the people here. And please don't take that away from me and everyone else. I don't know why you think this is a good idea. I've been trying to understand you so I don't get mad at you, but like, I can't really understand why, honestly, sorry. But yeah, just know that everyone has been impacted by this school, and it means a lot to all of us. So, thank you.
Our next three speakers are Denise Rodriguez, Sierra Bryant, and Miguel Gray.
My name is Arreola, and I'm a junior. I wasn't planning on speaking, but I just can't sit here not doing anything knowing maybe I could do something. I have gone through things in the past, but knowing that people, friends that go to this school that have gone through so much more, they felt worthless and insecure. And going to the school makes them feel completely worth it. I didn't only make friends, but I made a family. This last day before break, it was emotional. I saw friends I've never seen break down and cry in front of me. Sometimes we don't realize how precious something is until it begins to fall apart. And we need this school. The school is so precious to me and to many people in this school. Not just for me, but for everyone who attends this school. I know people need this school. Like, they need this school. And not for our teachers too. They sacrifice so much for us. I know teachers that if the school shuts down, they're gonna have to take drastic measures. And I don't want that for any of our teachers. And I don't want any of our students to be screwed over because of this school shutting down. But we need this school. Please just give us a chance.
Hello, good evening, students, teachers, parents, board. My name is Denise Rodriguez, and I'm a former graduate of Millennium Charter High School, and I am currently attending the University of California, Irvine. Millennium Charter High School I've attended all my 4 years, and it's been a school where I can grow and I can meet new people as a person and academically. I know many of my friends currently and peers from the graduating class of 2018 who are currently attending a 4-year, and one of my very good friends, she's also attending the University of California, Davis. Millennium Charter High School not only has taught me to be an individual, it has also taught me to strive to be the best person I can be. And I believe, well, for me finding out through the news, coming back from my school break, that the school was shutting down has made me very sad. I have a lot of pride in this school, and I believe many of the students currently attending can do a lot of great things. And I believe that if you guys shut down during the middle of the school year, it will not only affect many other students, but the greatest effect it will have will be on the current senior class of Millennium Charter High School, which is currently, since they're a senior class, they're looking for the acceptances. I feel like with whatever problems had happened or had been made in the past should be fixed, well, should be let the students finish off the year, but it should be fixed over the summer. I believe many of the problems that have been happening overall during my school years, in the 4 years, have been internally with the board and with everything that's been happening. I'm sorry, I'm not good at speaking right now, but during my 4 years at Millennium Charter High School, there has been not a lot of stability, but I still chose to be here because of the students and the teachers and the idea that was formed around Millennium Charter High School. And I'm sorry, that's all I have to say.
Sorry, I'm not used to microphone even though I go to an arts and tech school. I'd just like to say that I know a lot of students have came and, parents and teachers have come and really expressed their hurt and their concern. And I know some have done it very vocally. And I know a lot of the school, it's hard for us to be in each other's shoes because we're not in each other's places. Although I would like to just bring up that, the school is, we're high schoolers, it's hard to wrap our head around a lot of things, and especially running a school and doing all that the board does. It's kind of hard to, especially when we have our main concern of our school being kind of seemingly the rug's pulled out from under us. Although I'm a senior, so I'm just like, But, so I came here in my freshman year. Before that, the only high school thing I had was Ned's Classified School Survival Guide, so I was like, I don't know, I'm ready for the stereotypical, you got the jocks, you got the nerds, and you got lockers and bullying and all that stuff. And I came to Millennium and I'm like, whoa, what? On the first day, I want to say, maybe it's just romanticizing, but my first period teacher, Miss Megan Havens, English, she showed us a documentary called Waiting for Superman. And that was about the state of the school system and a lot of the problems in it. And I just was awestruck, oh my gosh, the first thing for freshmen is hey, this is how our school system isn't the best, and here's how we can try to change it. And I thought, at other school you wouldn't really get that. That was amazing. That really set the tone for the rest of career time at Millennium. Unfortunately, during my, the middle semester of my junior year, I had to leave due to carpooling, because as someone said, that we make it a point to come here. I'm in Prunedale, and carpooling didn't work out. Yeah. But anyways, I just wanted to say that I went to North County, and it was not a very good transition going from a student body of 200 to 1,200. And I felt just like a number. I wasn't Sierra Bryant. I was 1,030.75. And when I tried to bring up concerns to the principal, they were like, oh, I'm sorry, but you have to wait until next year for this one class you don't need to do is whatever. But I just want to say that I'm sorry for my time, but for Millennium Academy, my main concern is that the teachers are what make the school community what it is. And to know that maybe not all of them will be teaching at the Millennium Academy it's very concerning, because the staff and the faculty cultivate the culture that we indulge in. And I feel like without them, it won't be the same.
Thank you.
We've got 4 left. If I can call up the last 4, we have Wyatt Foxworthy, Alicia Doan, Dakota Bradshaw, and Judy Bradshaw.
Go ahead.
Hi, Miguel Gray. I'm a millennial parent for the Millennium Children. I came here thinking we were going to talk about a school, possible shutting down a school, and come to find out we're talking about shutting down a community. I thought we were going to talk about funding problems, and I come to discover we're actually talking about how we're going to affect people's lives, real lives. Come to find out this room is full of our community's most vulnerable. And I'm speaking for myself as well. I know that many of our vulnerable kids come from vulnerable families, vulnerable parents. And it's a room full of fighters. And we've come this far. And now we're fighting this situation. We're fighting the media. We're fighting public perception. And we all know what the cause of that is. You said we're not here to assign blame, and then you blame the school for not having reserve. You blame the school for enrollment going down. You blame the school for improper records. You asked, why don't we have 200? It's because the followers left and the leaders stayed. That's why we don't have 200. The fighters stayed. That's not a failure. That makes us more special. Not fitting in is a great place to be. You look at your elementary schools, you see signs about integrity, citizenship, teamwork. I don't see that in the options you presented. The options you presented ask, how do we take your independence, or how do we take your independence? Those are the 2 options that I see. I'm from the Air Force, and they taught us, it's not a one-mistake Air Force. It's a one-offense Air Force. Ladies and gentlemen, how have we offended you? I don't get it. Tough times call for heroes or bullies. I hope you choose to be the heroes.
Hi, I'm Wyatt Foxley. I want to say that you guys have no right to shut down our school. I've been bullied in the past. I've been bullied in grade school. I took karate so I could defend myself. I fought without fighting, which means I just blocked. And when I did fight, all the other kids would lie, and they were really good liars, and I would always get blamed. When I came to Millennium, I did not get bullied. I feel like I could call this home. If you guys want to shut down the school, I would ship myself to the school, and I would go down with it if you guys want me to. But you guys have no right to shut down the school, and if you shut down the school, I hope you live with the regret and the pain that you caused all these kids in this room. That's all I want to say. Thank you.
My name is Alicia Doan. I'm going to try not to get emotional. My son is a junior. We've been there 3.5 years, and I'm part of the PTO. And yes, the school has had some rough times, and it seems like every time we get a step forward, something puts us back. I'm amazed at the stories that are coming out of the kids today. They are really laying out their hearts to you. They're sharing things that are so personal that many of us here today have heard from them or heard things, glimmerings of it from our own children. The fact that they shared that in this open area and knowing the media is present is tremendous. And to me, that tells me that their environment gives them that support, that they're okay with themselves, they're okay with their history, and they have a future to look forward to. And those are the people that are going to go out into our world as adults, and they're going to share that type of humanity with the world. They're going to share tolerance and acceptance for others. And I pray for that because our world's really in a rough place right now. Because of that, I implore you all, if we cannot continue, at least to the end of the school year, which I feel is not such a huge thing to ask, especially for our students, but I implore you to put in whatever you need to do to support these children in this transition. It's evident in what they're telling you that they need a lot of emotional support and counseling when they become. The other thing I'd like to say is I appreciate the community coming out in this last minute notice of this. I'm so happy and thrilled to see this behind me and that everybody has pulled together. And because of that, I'm asking that the Millennium community and the community of Salinas, and hopefully it gets out in the media, if you're talking about ADA being a major issue and bringing numbers together, I understand there's debt and we're in a major deficit. But if we can pull our resources and bond together and find money to come in, or even those students, any parent out there in the community that's heard these stories and the support that they can receive in the school and the welcomeness from the other students, that's a safer place for them to be. We're not perfect, but it's a safer place to be. It's a place of acceptance and tolerance. And any parent out there, if you can hear this, contact the school and enroll, pre-enroll, and help build that ADA so maybe we can go into the next year stronger. And that's all I have to say.
My name is Dakota and I go to Millennium High School. I'm a junior and you shouldn't close the school down because I've been bullied every single day. I'm so tired. And if it weren't for the school, I wouldn't be here today. And for my friends Veronica, Andrew, and Sky, they made me happy. They argue for me every single day. And ever since I love music and they have music there. That's all I have to say.
Excuse me just a moment, that was my daughter. Okay, I'm Judy Bradshaw. That was my daughter. That's the most I've heard her talk in I don't know how many years. This school, she was in SPED program all the way through grammar school, middle school, and we started her at Salinas High School, where, believe me, she just got totally lost. We lost her. So when I heard of Millennium and did some research on Millennium, I thought, well, let's see what we can do there. And my God, they opened her with open arms. They accepted her the way she was. I knew she had some, problems or whatever, but so closed in. But the staff, the teachers at Millennium were there for her. They listened to her. Miss Burns was just phenomenal trying to get the help and the SPED program going. Miss Philsick has increased it. She's the SPED teacher now. Miss Dickman is a psychologist that she's worked with. And you can see she's advocating for herself. I think she would still be lost if we didn't change her in her sophomore year. So I just ask you to please consider delaying any kind of decision you're making, and please talk with the board. these wonderful administration people and the Millennium Board and the teachers who help these students try and advocate for themselves. Just please step back, maybe take some time and see what goes on in the next year. Continue through the year. Do some more talking. Thank you.
I'd like to thank everybody for taking the time out today to come and talk to us, and the students for pouring your heart out. We have heard you. We will be closing open session to go into closed session. We will be reconvening back here at 1:30. So I close this meeting.